God, Michael, I'm so tired. It's the end of like this huge week of the asylum. Today is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's a Halloween podcast, or happy day after Halloween, because I know that most people listen to this on a Monday. So, yeah, wherever you did it, well, I mean, you know, either happy Halloween or happy early Thanksgiving or just happy Rage Select podcast, because it's time for the Rage Select podcast here on Rage Select. And I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
And, yeah, we've got a whole big smorgasbord. We got like macaroni and cheese with the cut up hot dogs in it, and then like, you know, we got a lot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't even have time to talk about my ability to play pirate instruments this week.
It's kind of amazing, guys.
I'll talk about pirate instruments next week, because I need to get better at the pirate instruments before I can talk about them. This week, I actually was going to talk about Dune a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because like I feel like, and actually it's weird because I feel like it's been 4 days and everybody's just forgotten about Dune. Like,
not on my feed. It's full of memes.
Oh yeah,
and a news story that somebody took an edible and then wrote a review on it.
What? They wrote a review on an edible?
Yeah, they took an edible and watched Dune, and then wrote a review about what it's like to watch Dune on an edible.
Oh man.
I haven't read it yet, but apparently that's the thing.
Did you know that once upon a time, 20 plus years ago, I took a whole shitload of acid and watched Dune, like the David Lynch Dune, not the current one.
No, I get it. Yeah.
I'm not a time traveler, is what I'm saying.
That we know of.
Sorry, everybody.
Maybe you had a bunch of spice and you did watch the new one.
Yeah. No, see, I'm just way better at it. I'm better than Keanu. I actually changed my appearance over time. That's why I got the bald head and the hair. Turns out that if I grew this out, I would look like incredible. Just George Washington. You'd be like, holy shit. No, I actually took a lot of acid. I watched Dune, and I had this problem when I took LSD where I would like get subsumed into the movie that I was watching, and I would forget who the fuck I was. So when I got done, I couldn't talk. I would just say like, Fremen, like Kwisatz Haderach, and my friends were like, "Oh God, he's fucking stuck." Somebody reboot Jeff. But
worms. He keeps talking about worms.
He keeps talking about worm sign. He sees a worm sign outside. It's a fucking cul-de-sac. I don't know what he's talking about. So yeah, I watched it. I thought it was okay. I feel like there's been a lot of like hefty praise on it, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, the reason that I liked it so much was because all of the stuff that they took out of the movie, I know that stuff. Like, but they took a lot out of that movie, and a lot of it is like world building that then, like, you know, tempers the plot in ways that makes interactions different, right? Like if you know what a mentat is, then like that makes a difference. If you know like the Landsrat and the great houses, I mean, some of that stuff wasn't even in the book until later, but like they just took a lot out in the service of like a tone, like a feeling, right? Like these long shots of Paul looking off into the distance. And like, I get that. That's cool. Like, I like a tone. I like a feeling. I like a good feeling now and again, you know?
It's more than a feeling, Joe.
But I think the reason that people like Dune so much is because it's such a creative vision of the future. And when you take out a lot of the details of that vision, then I feel like you lose a little bit of the, you know, there's a lot of complicated running plots in Dune. And I feel like it's like I think I said this to you. I think the best way that I could describe it is it's like the later Harry Potter movies, where like the Harry Potter movies started leaving stuff out at a certain point because they're like, we're making movies, not fucking miniseries. We have to take out some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to the last books, there's stuff that has been left out that's like, well, that was kind of important here, but you guys didn't say it, so you got to take it out. So what you end up with is a much more stripped down version of the story that I feel like is really like, I feel like you could watch it without reading the book and you would be like, this is fine, this is good, I like this. But if you at all like the movie, and I listen, guys, Michael, listen, I fucking hate it when people say this, right? But like, go read the book. Like, it's just the next movie's not coming out till 2023. Do you want to know what happens with Paul? The book has been out for thousands of years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, go read the book. It holds up. It's good. You're going to get a lot more out of it. And then you could just like, you've already got the visuals, right? So you could just imagine when they say Duncan, Idaho, you could just be like, oh, Jason Momoa, I get it.
Duncan, Idaho. I still can't believe that guy, that's a real character, that thing.
Yeah.
Jackie Daytona.
Jackie Daytona.
Regular human worm handler or whatever.
but it was fine. I mean, I guess there's been a lot of like praise heaped on it, and I'm like, I just don't know. And let me make something abundantly clear. I am not an impartial film critic. Dune is my favorite fucking book. I have lofty expectations, and I will accept nothing less than perfection. I did not get perfection, which does not mean, a steak that's only cooked pretty good is still a delicious steak. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a fucking mind-blowing orgasm steak in order to enjoy one. I've cooked my share of fucking sloppy steaks that are fine. But it's good. I also have a real bone to pick with the idea that because they waited so long to put it out, and then they waited to see if when it came out it was going to do okay, that we're not getting the next one for fucking 2 years. It's like, guys, just go to the beach and do it. Come on. Like, I could do this shit. Give me the camera. I'll do this. I'll do it next week. Give me Timothy Chalamet. I'll make that guy fucking ride a worm. I'll show you how to ride a worm. This is getting weird.
Timothy Chalamet, I can never say his last name. He admitted on an interview that he had a YouTube channel for a little bit as a teenager.
I saw that.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
He was painting controllers.
It's going to happen more and more. So anyway, I don't know. Like if you have HBO Max, it's definitely like, I don't know, you could do worse than spend 2.5 hours watching Dune. You could always like, here's a secret. Here's a life hack for everybody on the internet. Everybody ready for life hacks? You just turn it off if you don't like it. Like,
just watch Justice League or whatever.
You watch 10 minutes of it.
That's pretentious.
Yeah, exactly. You watch 10 minutes of it and be like, I'm going to watch the Snyder Cut again. And you know what? I won't even judge you out loud on this podcast where nobody can hear me. Because, you want to watch something. Hey, man, I'm rewatching fucking Harley Quinn and some anime where this girl gets all wet whenever she plays cards in a high school. Like, I mean, come on. Like, my taste is nothing to...
Okay, then.
Yeah.
That last one's real, by the way.
That's Kakiguru, yeah. So... yeah, that was my week. It was The Asylum, Pirate, which you've already seen, Dune, which I just talked about, and pirate music that I'm going to talk about at a later date. So, yes. Michael, what about you? What did you play some pirate music this week? Did you buy a hurdy-gurdy or like a theremin or something weird?
Luckily no. My week's been kind of busy. I've been watching stuff for One of Us. I did some review stuff, a lot of work stuff, of course.
Did you watch the finale of What We Do in the Shadows yet?
I did.
Was it good?
It during lunch.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's weird.
Okay.
Is the best way of putting it. Like, right. It's a whole lot of status quo got changed. Tons of it.
The last 3 or 4 episodes have been kind of weird. So
yeah, this one is very much like, I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to what they're going to do from here. And I'm not going to say why, because there's that, like, just mentioning one of them would immediately be like spoiling much of the episode.
Okay.
I do love the fact that Donald Logue in the last episode was revealed to be a vampire, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And so he shows up in this episode for a little bit again, which still makes me laugh because he still talks about like his work as like actual Donald Logue,
right?
Because one of the gags in it is that he's painting. Or he's helping them paint something. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yeah, I learned how to paint during Grounded for Life. And he starts talking about the back times of Grounded for Life. And I'm like, this is legitimately interesting. Except that he's also supposed to be a vampire version of Donald Logue.
Yeah. What about, is there anything that you can talk about from your One of Us stint? Probably not, right?
Well, I've already done
embargoes.
A lot of those reviews are already out, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because Inside Job's already out.
Oh.
So that's
the Discord was going nuts for that, but like I had a problem with it because when I looked at it, it looked like there have been like 4 or 5 crappy ass animated shows that have that same art style, the like almost Rick and Morty style. It's like there was what's that bad one about? It's like a coach at a high school.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I've watched reviews for a bunch of really bad Netflix animated shows, and they have that same art style. And so I was just like, "Are you sure?" But everybody just keeps saying it's great.
It's actually really well animated. But the thing about the show is that it's full of just like rapid fire jokes.
Okay.
Like one of my favorite jokes is also a very offensive joke because there's a part where the character's mom is getting married to themselves. And he's like, "Oh, that's what that is. I just thought your mom was a lesbian and I was racist." And like I just fucking lost it from that gag because it comes out of nowhere. But the gag, like the show's full of just weird gags like that, and they're just so rapid fire. Like there's a whole episode about like why 80s nostalgia is stupid. And like,
is that the one that keeps saying, I think Jeff wrote this episode in the Discord?
That's absolutely, because one of the episodes, because it's all about conspiracy theories, of course.
Yeah.
And one of the conspiracies is that there's a town in the middle of America where there's this drug that got like accidentally seeped in there that makes everyone stuck in like a specific time frame. So they all think they still live in the 80s.
Oh shit.
So they use that CD to sell all their old like dangerous products that like they can't sell anymore.
Okay.
So they just like throw all that stuff in there, and so they end up accidentally getting trapped there for a little bit. So and one of the characters is very much like the 80s is great, and the main character is like, I don't understand, because they grew up at the time but they never saw anything because they were very much like deep in the science.
Yeah.
So she's just like, this is stupid. Like, why would anyone like any of this stuff?
All right, you're making a good case. I might have to put that fucking horny gambling show on hold and binge watch some Netflix.
It's really funny, and the thing that I'm super impressed by it is that every reference is name brand. Like there's never they like they're allowed to say Facebook and Amazon and Reddit and all of those things. There's never a point where they're like the face pages or whatever. They're like, no, Twitter is terrible. Like there's a whole gag.
Don't you mean the Meta page now?
Yeah,
I guess
it just happened.
Fucking happened.
If you die in the metaverse, you die for real.
Why? I don't. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to go too far out on this limb because it starts to get into weird political nonsense.
It
but
does.
like,
but I did also watch My Hero Academia. With that review, just came out today, or for the movie. Because the movie came out today in theaters. I really like that as well.
Wait, hold on. But I have a question about Meta. Real fast.
Go for it.
From what I hear and the snippets that I watch, because I can't watch Mark Zuckerberg, you'll get hypnotized like a cursed video. He basically just came out and said we're making the Oasis, in spite of the fact that like that's a dystopian book about a horrible future where nobody actually does anything but gets jacked into VR Central, and then they're like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. The kids will be into it. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I saw a small clip though that made me laugh because it was the subtitle on it was that Mark Zuckerberg acts like he acts and sounds like he's being translated in a Nintendo Direct. And I watched it and they're like, no, yeah, that's true, it does.
Why is that man? Why don't they just put him away and hire somebody else? Hire fucking Carrot Top or somebody to be like the head of the company. Like
another good episode of Inside Jobs shows how many people are lizard people. That was a fun episode. There's a Smash Brothers joke in that episode too.
Dude, somebody showed that there was a Lost joke, the Lost comic joke, in the background.
I actually didn't notice that one until they put that. I was like, oh my god! So I went back and watched that. And I'm like, oh, there it is, just right there, out in the open.
Well.
Oh, I also got Guardians of the Galaxy, but I haven't played very much of it.
Just got done playing a little bit of that today. We'll see it on the dojo tomorrow. So, speaking of video games, though, we had an incredibly lackluster Sony State of Play this week,
to say the least.
Yeah, and it's time to do that thing you do, which is let's go through the State of Play. Let It Die has a non-Suda 51 Battle Royale sequel coming out.
It's a very strange decision. And I didn't realize it was a Let It Die sequel until I saw my friend's tweet.
Yeah.
Where it said that Mr. what was the name of the Reaper?
Uncle Death.
Yeah, it said Uncle Death went back to his home planet.
Yeah.
Because he's nowhere to be seen in this entire thing.
Yeah, I think there's like a part at the end where you hear his voice, like really briefly. But
I think so. But like that's why I didn't realize it was that for a while. Because when they showed it, I didn't realize the State of Play was happening.
Yeah.
So I had I skimmed through it originally, and then I watched it fully afterwards.
I mean,
I was like, oh, okay, this is what this is.
I haven't really looked very much into it, but I mean, it just appears to be like a wackadoodle battle royale game with the kind of Let It Die-ish mechanics, which I guess is fine. I mean,
I guess. I don't know. Battle Royale's still the rage, I guess.
I never really was able to keep my interest in Let It Die. I love Let It Die, but like I didn't play it for like a shitload of time.
A lot of people really liked it, and I get it.
But the weird thing about this is that it doesn't seem like it's Suda, right? I don't know if that's for sure, but like it has a different development company.
As far as I know, it's not them.
It's just like in the Let It Die averse. It's like Gung Ho and Super Trick Games, which neither of which appear to be Grasshopper Manufacturer. So
that's strange.
Yeah. But, of all the franchises to make a weird offshoot from, I wonder. I continue to wonder all day, every day, are Suda 51 games like way more popular than I realize? Because they keep giving him money, they keep letting him make games, and here they are spinning off something which I thought was like an interesting experiment that I don't think had that many legs, like in Let It Die. Like, was that really popular enough to do this?
I think some of their games are more popular in Japan than they are here.
Oh.
And they're very cult classic-y. So
Yeah.
a lot they have enough notoriety.
Yeah.
I couldn't say that word for some reason. They have enough of that to be like, well, enough people know what this is, so they have enough people that will be like word of mouth on it, which I think is fascinating, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not really looking forward to this. I really am hoping that at some point soon that we can turn the corner on Battle Royale like we did on MOBAs and MMOs and everything else previously.
Oh, the bubble's going to burst eventually. We know it.
Yeah. I mean,
some take longer than others.
And this is going to be spring of 2022.
I'll laugh if they died just and like before that, like in winter.
Yep.
Everyone just stops playing fucking Fortnite all of a sudden.
We saw a trailer for We Are OFK, which I actually really like the concept of, because they had a kickin' like music video when they first announced this game. I could definitely see though how anybody might roll their eyes at a bunch of like kind of what mid-20s musicians in LA that are just all super 20s LA people.
Yeah, the thing is, the trailer makes them all so charming that you're just like, I kind of want to hang out with these people.
Yeah.
And so it actually does make me a little excited for the idea, especially this guy with the pink hair, and he's just like giant arms, like just kept making me laugh. So yeah. Oh, and the woman driving is just like, so should we use hashtags? I don't trust people who use hashtags, but I feel like we should get ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Like, I like these lines. These are fun.
It seems like just like an ultra stylized little like adventure game and stuff. I mean, this has been, I think it was teased like 2 years ago at the Game Awards, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It's been quite some time since we've heard about this.
Yeah.
I almost forgot it existed until this came out.
I think there was a trailer last year at the Game Awards as well. Either that or E3. I think there was actually an E3 thing. But yeah, I mean, it just looks like super stylized. Apparently, it's going to be episodic, and then every episode's going to have like a music video from the band's EP that you can kind of like make decisions in, which is fine. I mean, you know, hey man, not every game has to have ninjas in it. Also, Jeff doesn't have to play every game that comes out. That's not true. I have to play every game that comes out.
Because it needs a pirate instrument.
They need a pirate instrument in this band. Are you kidding me? These people would have nothing to do with me. I'm a 43-year-old like dumpy white guy.
Well, it could be like a lot of those TV shows where there's always the dumpy old guy in the young people band, because they're the only one that knows how to play that specific instrument.
Right.
Because that happens all the time in those shows.
There's like a subplot where they're like, we need a pirate instrument in this band, and then like Jeff shows up in like jorts and a Hawaiian shirt, and they're like, get out of here. And then they're like, what do you mean he's the only one in LA that can play pirate instruments? And they're like, I don't know, he's been doing it for 30 years.
That's exactly what'll happen.
And then they have to learn not to judge a book by their cover. The end. Everybody grows, you know. Knowing is half the battle.
Exactly.
I like We Are OFK. I could definitely see, I don't like to use this word very much, but I could definitely see where people are like, this is woke as hell, and I'm like, yeah, but that's fine. Like, it's fine.
It's some hipster shit.
Yeah,
you're either into that or you're not.
2022 is when this is coming out. Let's see. From there, some actual, honest to God, good news. Well, I mean, I don't know. The rest of this is fine.
Yeah.
Bugsnax is back. They're getting a free update with the Isle of Big Snacks, which are gigantic versions of Bugsnax and all the crazy. What the hell are they called? Grumpets?
I don't even know what they're called. All I know is that I found out the actual plot of Bugsnax not that long ago, and I was like, that's dark as shit.
Oh, you never found out what happens at the end of Bugsnax?
I found out recently. I now know what happens, so now it's like, oh Jesus.
The end of Bugsnax is dark.
It's dark as fuck.
But yeah, you can put hats on Bugsnax now. And also they're giant Bugsnax. And also they finished your house in the little village so you can decorate it with various things.
Hooray? Question mark?
Yeah.
Again, I now know the plot of Bugsnax.
It's very dark.
It's way darker than you expect it to be, guys. I'm serious.
Yep.
If you have not played it, go like at least if you don't plan on playing it, look it up like I did, because that's why I did it.
True.
And it's like, oh shit. Oh fuck.
Yep. No, it gets very strange. And then, as always, like watching anything related to Bugsnax means that Cara Cara Bonito song for Bugsnax is just stuck in my head for like 3 days straight.
It's a very catchy song.
Yep. Big ass Bugsnax. Yes, as previously mentioned, the Isle of Big Snacks is going to be coming out early 2022. And it's going to be free, which is great. Because that's the same company that like they didn't have any crunch for Bugsnax. And then like 6 months ago, they announced that they were just going to like people only had to come into the office 4 days a week, 8 hours a day, and they're going to pay them the same amount as if they were working 40 hours.
Oh my God, that's
which
amazing.
is great. Yeah. There have been a lot of studies done that show like if you do that, it's fine and everybody does their work. Like you don't get 20% less work. You get the exact same amount of work. And actually you get better work because people aren't just like fucking all wound up all the time.
Yeah, I heard that Japan has a lot of studies on it currently.
Yep. Let's see. From there, we got a what is this? Five Nights at Freddy's security. What the hell is it called? Security breach. Yeah.
And we got a release date on it now too.
Which here's the thing, Michael. I'm actually kind of interested in this one. There's like agency. You can like move around. You could do stuff. They show them like getting inside of a Freddy Fazbear suit almost like. Solving puzzles, walking around and trying to avoid them. And then, you know what? Just the fact that the monsters are like walking around and not just teleporting up into your face, like is better for me personally. So I don't know. I might. This might be the one to get me into it. Like
as long as a little bit of mechanics of the old school thing, but not enough for you to be like, you know. Like it's one of those things like I wanted this to be a game.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. This is like, hey, what if Five Nights at Freddy's was a fucking game?
Yeah. Now, why it's in an 80s mall is beyond me, but...
reasons, Jeff.
Actually, I do know the answer to that, Michael. Do you know the answer to that?
Well, I don't know if it's a game theory. Sorry, that's my first thought. Go ahead.
There's a ball pit in the Five Nights universe that travels through time and takes you back to the 80s.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yep. That's part of the book series. Because I do watch.
Forgetting that's a thing, by the way.
I do watch game theory, and poor Matt Pat, like whenever he doesn't have anything else to do, is just like, I guess let's crank out another Five Nights video. So
it was his bread and butter for a long time.
Yep. So I actually I know the lore, which I like the lore. I just don't like that thing where when you're playing a video game where like you look at something and then you turn back and there's something all up in your face. And like the Five Nights, I even we played the security breach with Grant for the asylum, and I had forgotten. I think I knew at some point I saw
security breach. What is the name of it?
Help Wanted. Wanted. That's security breach. That in that one the big puppets, the animatronics, they walk. They are animated. They don't just blip from place to place, which is like, well, I could play a game where I could see them walking around. It's mostly the just like cut to camera one, cut to camera two, cut back to camera one, and just blah, like that's the part that really freaks me out. So
I think that's what made the fox more terrifying in that, though, is the fact that it was the only one that did like you see it haul ass towards you.
Yeah,
that thing scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a release date, and it is December 16th.
Yeah.
So, and right around the corner, we'll have I bet they were crunching like hell to try to get that thing out this month, and then it was just like, well, we can't do it.
Yeah, because it's been worked on for a long time.
Yeah,
I was surprised that it was not coming out this month.
Couple years, yeah. Let's see. From there, we got the announcement that Death's Door, where you play as a little Dark Souls Raven that's like facing down against dead shit. That's coming out on the PS4 and the PS5, November 23rd. We got a horrible. I don't
know what the fuck this thing kind of was.
You know what it reminds me of? What was that game on the PlayStation 3 that was like it was like a kart racer for the PS3 where you could like make tracks, you could like generate tracks and then put them up online, and it was like,
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't have a PS3, so I never learned the name of it.
It was terrible, or I didn't like it. I'm just not as big. I'm not so enamored with kart games that I'm willing to take whatever kart game you give me. I'll play Mario Kart, but like,
well, that's the thing about kart games is that like it's. A lot of times you don't really care about them if they're not a name brand, if that makes sense, like you said.
Yeah. And this one is just a very generic kart racer. I mean, like it doesn't look bad or anything. It just looks like a generic ass kart racer with all of the things that entails.
I'm sure whoever the audience is for these sorts of games is going to love it.
The people that are going to buy that fucking Square Enix Final Fantasy kart racer.
Yes, they're the guys who buy every fucking kart game, whether it's Nickelodeon related or this or Square Enix related.
Kart Rider Drift.
It's an interesting game. Also it's free to play.
Yeah.
So there's that, Joe.
Hooray! From there, we saw a new character for King of Fighters 14. I forget what her name is, but I
forgot to.
King of Fighters 14. Dolores. Dolores is coming out. There's going to be an open beta test. 15, not 14. 15.
Mulva is her name.
So yeah, there's an open beta test coming to the PS4 and the PS5. And that's I think it's a new character. I'm pretty sure it's a new character. I don't think I've ever seen her before. So King of Fighters 15 continues to look fucking badass.
It looks great.
Don't know really what else to say about this. Like,
I'm debating buying it day one, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe you and I can work something out. We'll have to see how it goes. No, I don't think we have an actual. Do we have a full-on release date for King of Fighters 15?
I don't remember. I know I don't know if it's a pre-order thing or something. All I know is I want that fucking Mark of the Wolf's Terry outfit, and that's one of the only reasons I'm like, maybe I should pre-order it. I don't know.
Let's see, February 14th. Oh right,
it's one of
the February's. One of the February's.
So
ones.
I'm debating it. I'll have to figure that out. Because honestly, I play King of Fighters mostly for Terry.
Yeah,
but like 80% for Terry.
Yeah. So there's going to be some beta tests. From there, we got. Sometimes Sony gets in the wrong state of mind, and I feel like it's like, here's a battle royale sequel to Let It Die. Here's a free to play kart racer. Here's Among Us, but it's 3D.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of interesting though, because this is First Class Trouble, and it's basically like some people are regulars, some people are killer robots, and you've got to like work together and try to find out who the killer robot is. And it looks like it's a little bit more like it's on a space station, but it's kind of got like a throwback vibe, kind of like Prey. Right?
Yeah, it's got a Prey kind of design as well as like the old 1950s like era, like a communist era kind of thing.
Yeah. In fact, all this stuff, is this made by Arcane? This stuff looks so much like Prey.
I don't know. Actually, is the thing. I don't know who's making it. But, yeah, it's very much just like, why don't we just make Among Us, but, like, with super graphics and stuff, without understanding, like, probably why people really like that series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering if it might be the new thing that will replace Battle Royale is the idea.
Oh, the Among Us?
The Among Us idea.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, compete with it.
You know, the Fortnite model never took off. Build while you shoot. I guess. Oh, no, I guess that's just Battle Royale.
Well,
but like
it's mostly Battle Royale, but the way they do it is very specific.
Yeah.
Because, you're right. That's like you don't watch people in Apex make, like, houses to hide in kind of thing, and you don't watch, like, people in Call of Duty Warzone do that. It's because it's for some people that's really tricky. So
I can't get it. I've
never been able to figure it out.
Never been able to internalize it.
But I don't know. Like it's one of those things where it's like I'm amazed this worked at all.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
But First Class Trouble is coming out November 2nd, so it's right around the corner. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Like, it's possible that the one thing about Among Us that bothers me, because Among Us obviously is on just about every, or is about to be on just about everything at this point. But like, integrating voice comms, like Among Us, you need to use like your own voice comms, like it's not built into the game.
It was a very like cheap studio that built it originally.
Yeah,
like it had been out for a while before it became popular. So I
gotta say, like, I actually really do like the aesthetic, like the art style in this. Like, it's kind of got this BioShock in space, Prey kind of thing going on, and I kind of dig that. Also, you could just straight up like chase people down and strangle them to death. It's not like ejecting the traitor, right? Like, it's like you literally just strangle them.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Let's see. From there, Michael, tell me what you know about Star Ocean.
It was a game series that a bunch of people I knew in high school really liked the idea of.
Yeah.
I never cared for it myself.
I've tried a few times. The Star Ocean, the Divine Force got announced. But
Yeah.
I don't, man, this looks generic as hell. Like, I don't know, like, what makes Star Ocean. I mean, apparently it's like what they came in a spaceship and there's like a medieval society on this planet.
Well, it's like it's a sci-fi RPG thing, but like the issue I always had with Star Ocean was it doesn't lean into the sci-fi aspect of it.
Yeah,
it just always leans heavily into like the generic RPG side.
Yeah,
every time.
Also, this main protagonist looks like garbage. Like he's like this beefy blonde dude, and he looks so generic. Like,
yeah.
He looks like a generic anime protagonist from somebody that was trying not to make a generic anime protagonist. Like, but his hair is blonde and it's long, and he's like beefier, and he's got a scar in his face. It's like, yeah, man. Like,
so, yeah, but you still made like the other person like a giant-chested woman. It's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's nothing in here that like appeals to me. Just in looking at it, like,
I don't know. All I know is anyone who likes Star Ocean is excited. And that's good for you guys? Question mark?
Yeah, great.
It was actually like one of the biggest surprises of the state of play.
If you told me that this was Xenogears, I would not be able to tell the difference. If you told me that this was Xenosaga, if you told me this was the new Xenosaga game,
if it was Xenogears, I'd be excited because I like Xenogears. That's the one that a lot of people don't talk about.
Or if you told me this was a Tales game, I would not be able to know the difference.
I would not have been able to tell the difference either. Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said, that Star Ocean has a very specific set of fans who really like that series, and I assume they're excited about this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't speak for them, so I don't know.
That's coming out sometime in 2022. You'd be the weirdest Lorax of all time.
Yeah,
I speak for the Star Ocean fans.
Speak for the Ocean fans, the Star Ocean fans.
We need more Loraxes. We need more specified Loraxes.
Very weirdly specific Loraxes. I bet you there's a furry Lorax, and it's just the guy in a Lorax costume.
I was like, isn't that just the Lorax?
That's a dude in a Lorax costume. There's a difference.
I speak for the I'm the Lorax. I speak for the Loraxes.
He speaks for the yips.
Oh, the yips. We finished up with Little Devil Inside, which was kind of strange because this was like a big gameplay demo as opposed to just like a trailer.
Yeah. Which I was okay with because it finally showed us really what this game is.
Yeah. Which appears to be like, I don't know, kind of like Monster Hunter plus Dark Souls divided by agrarian Victorian England. Like,
I'm very confused by it, to be honest, but I'm still like, it's actually the most excited I've been about a game that wasn't like super AAA,
right?
Because the first time we ever saw a trailer for this, I was fascinated by it.
Yeah,
and how simple it is, as well as having these intricate systems at the same time. I'm interested to see how it plays.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like a good sense of humor. It's got a nice art style. They show some. They actually don't show all that much in the way of like combat. They show like one little kind of section that makes it look like kind of Soulsy combat, but a lot of it is just kind of vignettes of driving and fishing and talking to people and this guy threw me in a pool. So I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see more. This told me a little more, but I was kind of already sold.
Yeah.
And that's it. That was it.
Yeah, the state of play was actually real small today, and a lot of people were arguing over like why it was that way, because some people were expecting big grandiose things.
Yeah,
because all they said was it was a third party state of play.
Oh, did they? I didn't.
Yeah, when they announced it, they're like, it's going to be a third party state of play. So people were like, well, maybe we'll see some cool third party stuff, and some people were like, well, it's supposed to be an indie one. It's like, yes, my favorite indie developer, Square Enix, kind of thing. It's like, no, it's a third party, and people actually showed off that they said only third party, but there was only so little. There was so little of it that I was like, was that it? Like, I was expecting something.
It was also just very like, I don't know, everything that they showed I feel like was none of it was wide.
No.
It was all very targeted. We started with the Deathverse, which is obviously for Battle Royale fans. We got the We Are OFK and Bugsnax, which are kind of twee indie, and then like FNaF and Death's Door and kart racers and fighters and Among Us. Like, everything was for a very specific subset of gamer, and it was very tailored to that subset of gamer.
And some of them were excited about it on some of the stuff in here, but I get why the majority of the audiences are just like, there wasn't anything here.
Yeah. Especially, I don't know, after kind of waiting for or I guess not waiting for so long. I don't know, man. It would have been nice if there was a bunch of stuff in here. I was just more than happy to get a release date for the FNaF.
No.
Right now, I do not have enough time to beat the games that I own. I need to get started on Guardians before some other shit comes out to distract me.
Yeah.
Lost Judgment is just sitting there, tapping its foot, waiting for me to go back to it. So
that's the thing, is that people when they hear, people are in a weird state now where they hear hey, we're gonna have a Nintendo Direct or a State of Play or the Xbox Showcase or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're always expecting something major, it's a fucking E3 event. And the thing is, people need to remember that's not what the case is.
Well, it's just not what the majority of announcement videos are.
It's never going to be that way. Because, if you did, then there would be big AAA games every 20 minutes. And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. You got to have some boring announcement videos in order to get you really psyched up for the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't all be who the next character in Smash is, Nintendo fans.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I just, how is it that I haven't yet put 2 and 2 together? I never have to hear about the new character in Smash Brothers again until there's a new Smash Brothers.
Hopefully we won't have to hear about it for a very long time.
I don't think that's going to stop them though, right? Smash fans are still just going to be like, put more people in Smash, and they'll be like, we said we were done. And they're like, I don't give a fuck. Put more people in Smash. Make a Fighters Pack 3. They should really make a Fighters Pack 3. I heard they're going to make a Fighters Pack 3. Oh my God. We should start a rumor that they're making a Fighters Pack 3.
Well, I told you that was already a thing, right?
Oh no.
Where you know how Pixel phones have a Google news feed or whatever, to be like, these are things we think you might find interesting. Half of them are clickbait articles of being like, oh, what are the odds they're going to make a Fighter Pack 3 thing? And this was literally right after Sakurai said to their faces, I am not making any more after this.
Yeah.
This is the end. And this was before they even finished showing off Fighter Pack 2. We're not doing anything after this. This is the end of it. And there was still plenty of articles going, well, with the chances of another Fighter Pack. Fucking fuck off, guys. They've told you 5 times already that they're not doing this. So yeah, it's just gonna get worse, I think.
I think the only thing I'm into the way that Smash fans are into Smash is Dune, which explains all my bullshit nitpicking at the beginning. But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Everything else, I don't care. Whatever. I take it as it comes. Well, let's see. We had a little bit more Sony news, and this is just a brief footnote, but apparently Sony has created a PlayStation PC division. People noticed that the PlayStation games that are on the PC switched their publisher from, I believe it was PlayStation Mobile to PlayStation PC LLC.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like PlayStation is planning on staying in the PC business and is codifying their publishing arm for more PC stuff. I feel this is kind of a no-brainer, right? I guess it's one way. We've never really talked about it because I don't really care if system exclusive games exist, because I buy every system and so I'll end up playing it all eventually.
Yeah.
But I guess this kind of makes sense in a way to kind of counteract some of the Xbox stuff with yes, you can play God of War on the PC, you can play Uncharted on the PC, but still no Bloodborne, still no fucking Bloodborne, still no Demon Souls remake. Come on.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's really, I think it's exciting for people, because there's plenty of people I've talked to that are just well, I'm just not doing consoles anymore, because some people have gotten into that idea that they only want to do PC gaming from now on.
Yeah. And
I can't really blame them per se, because a lot of them, they invest so much time into these things. And so it's very much well, I already spent all the money on my PC. I might as well hang on to what I'm doing game wise for dear life.
Yeah,
and I can't blame them for that. Like I said, they can't all be, they can't all have all the systems like me and you kind of thing. So I'm not really gonna fight them on that. So this is a good middle ground, I think, especially since the PS5 is still pretty hard to find at the moment.
I think it'll be interesting, though, to see, because they've been going at a relatively, it's not fast by any stretch of the imaginations, but it's a kind of a relatively even pace of announcing and putting stuff out for the last generation. What are the odds that, because when I think about the PS4 exclusives that aren't on the PC,
there's quite a few still.
But of the big ones, it's Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man is one of the big ones.
I mean, Uncharted Lost Legacy, but they've got plans to do that already.
Yeah, the Uncharted series, of course, they plan on getting all that stuff on there.
Last of Us 2.
The Last of Us is The Last of Us on PC? It's not, is it?
I don't think the first one is. No, Last of Us 2. Like, wow, it would be like. In a lot of ways, it's funny because a lot of people have really complicated feelings because of dumbass brand loyalty. But I'm like, man, I wish they would put Spider-Man out on the PC because then a bunch of people could play Spider-Man because that game fucking rules, man.
They can all play Spider-Man and they can all make some crazy shit in that fucking universe.
Hell yeah.
Because that's my favorite thing about PC gaming is mods.
Yeah,
because that's the main reason people are so PC gung-ho is they're like, well, I can make Kratos look like Yoda if I wanted to, and then go from there. People are doing it.
Just have Thomas the Tank Engine swinging around downtown New York. Just the whole train, just thwip, thwip, thwip.
They fight on a giant Thomas the Tank Engine in God of War 4 or whatever.
Oh, they can replace the worm, the Nidhogg with Thomas the Tank Engine. That'd be great. I'm sure somebody has already done that.
They're already working on it. If not,
let's see. From there. It wouldn't be a week of the Rage Select podcast unless we didn't update a bunch of shit about Activision Blizzard.
Oh, geez.
We got two actually relatively good pieces of news about Activision Blizzard this week. So last week we reported that there's this brouhaha between the EEOC and the California Fair Housing Commission. And as part of this back and forth between the two of them, Blizzard put out they made a motion to basically have the California Department of Fair Housing and Employment to have their case just dropped because they were like, this has been settled with the EEOC. We shouldn't have to do this. Well, this week a judge came out and was like, no, we're not going to just dismiss that out of hand.
Like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
Yeah. Which is good. I mean, it doesn't mean that everything is going to go according to plan, but it does mean that it's not immediately just gone.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened, which is actually, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, Michael. I don't know if you saw this, but Bobby Kotick said that he cut his salary to the minimum amount allowed by his contract, which is $62,000 a year, until this shit is resolved. He basically said he's going to take the hit. Now I don't know because last year Bobby Kotick got $150 million worth of stock, which was like a bonus, right? It wasn't his being paid. So I don't know if Bobby Kotick is going to still be getting $100 million worth of fucking stock.
Well, he already has millions of dollars just probably hidden away right now. So he's going to be fine.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that dude has the world's biggest coke habit. I've seen behind the music. I know what happens.
I don't know if that's the same thing for gaming or not, but based on these stories, it might be.
Yeah. So he's basically said that he wants his salary cut, quote, until the board has determined that we have achieved the transformational gender-related goals and other commitments described elsewhere in the letter. So, and with that, they basically talked about a few different changes that they're making inside of Activision Blizzard. And some of these are really, really interesting. The first one was this zero-tolerance harassment policy company-wide. And part of the language in here is interesting, and it basically says rather than issuing a citation to a person who has done something wrong, they will just be fired outright. It seems like they're really locking it down, which seems like it could end up swinging really quick, really far in the other direction. But at this point, it's you kind of just are going to have to over enforce until people feel safe.
It's a double-edged sword that is kind of needed at the moment, to be honest. So yeah.
So there's that. They're apparently trying to increase the percentage of women and non-binary people in their workforce by 50% or up to 50%, and are investing $250 million to accelerate opportunities for diverse people that are internal.
Nice.
Apparently, King had a program that was doing kind of something similar that was very successful, and they want to implement that company wide to basically try to get it so that it's it's 50-50. It's half and half. It's
that might help out a lot, actually.
Yeah. And then there's also the $250 million, which they're apparently going to be spreading around into basically like management and leadership programs for the new people that they're bringing on to kind of get them up to speed and to train people. So the one that I wholeheartedly can say yes without any problems is that they are ending forced arbitration for sexual harassment claims and things of that nature.
Which, they shouldn't have been doing that to begin with, because those specific things are so big.
Yeah.
Like, even forcing those into arbitration is just a bad fucking idea. Well, just minimum those two things.
It's always, forced arbitration is just a fucking scam.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just a way for the company to control the essentially the conflict resolution without having to do any of the things that you would have to do if you went to like actual court. They always frame it as just like, well, it'd be costly and expensive to go to court. We should just do this with the Jim over there. We'll just bring him in and he'll sort it out. Yeah,
well, it's how they got here in the first place.
Yes,
and it's very much like they might as well be, as much as they're saying, well, based on feedback from other people, they're like, no, this is literally what got us here in the first place.
Right.
We should probably nip that out the bud at the moment.
They are going to be trying to increase visibility on pay equity, which is something that they've apparently already been doing.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I really, really wish when I was younger that. I think my dad told me, like, never discuss how much you make. And I really internalized that because it was like, oh, my privacy. But, like, as I've gone on, I'm like, nah, you should tell everybody what you make, and they should tell you what they make. Because if it turns out that you're making 4 times what I'm making and we're doing the same job, that's fucked up. And I'm going to go yell at somebody about that or quit and go get a different job. Like,
that's the thing is, when I got my current job, I would talk to people about it, and they'd be like, oh, is it okay if I ask how much you make? And I'm like, why would it be weird if I did tell you how much I make?
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I don't think I've actually ever worked for a company that specifically said, like, do not discuss your pay with your coworkers, but I know they exist.
Yeah. I've never dealt with it, but I've heard it constantly from other people.
Yeah. And then 5, they want to provide regular progress updates. We'll be monitoring the progress of our business unit, franchise teams, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, let me translate this all into regular people talk. Well, you all are smart, already. But what I get from this, Michael, is they have realized that they can't just wait for it to die down.
No.
Like, they can't just wait it out because there's enough noise and this is a big enough thing. And that California lawsuit is ongoing to the point where it's like, we can't pretend. We can't just issue the statement. We can't pull it a Ubisoft and just say how sorry we are and like we're dedicated ourselves to making sure that there's equity and blah, 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 and then not do jack shit. And then eventually people will get caught up in another scandal or another news cycle and we'll just go away because this just keeps popping up.
It's what's interesting about it. Yeah, I think it is the idea that we can't make this go away by throwing money at it, per se, and we can't make this go away by just waiting for it. And Bobby Kotick is just like, well, I need people to not think I'm the devil at the moment.
Right.
So I need to do something drastic.
Right.
And that's what he did. And a lot of this stuff is all good. A good step forward.
Yep.
And if this is as far as they go, at least this is some pretty big changes to begin with.
If the things that I just listed off get actually implemented, then
yeah,
sure, give that guy back his obscene amount of money. Whatever. I'd rather you didn't, but
I'd rather you didn't either. But he's already rich as shit, so it's fine.
But if the reason that he gets paid an obscene amount of money is because they made a dramatic shift towards treating the people that work there better, I'm more okay with that.
Maybe.
So, yeah. So, yeah. And we still have to see what happens with the California thing. We still have to see what happens with the EEOC.
Yeah.
But if they follow up with this, I like it. Hey, you know what? I have to give credit because what was it, like 3 or 4 podcasts ago when we were talking about the stock group that was like suspend all bonuses until, well, this is a financial hit. Like Bobby Kotick maybe didn't do this stuff, but he was at the head of the company and he's taking a financial hit until the shit gets sorted out. And that's accountability. And I dig that. So
yeah, it's a good way of being like, don't fire me.
Right. Well, there's also that. Yeah.
I'm saving your money now. Don't fire me.
Let's see. In other Blizzard news, we found out that McCree's new name, this is a little strange. Okay, so here's the thing. McCree's new name is Cole Cassidy, which is a fine cowboy name.
That's a perfectly fine name.
But I don't know if you saw this fucking tweet that they put out that's like, Jesus Lord. It's okay. It's like this little thing. The first thing, it's got a picture of McCree.
I saw this actually.
The first thing a renegade loses is their name, and this one gave up his long ago. Running from his past meant running from himself, and each passing year only widened the divide between who he had become and what he had become. But in every cowboy's life, there comes a time where he has to stop and make a stand to make this new Overwatch better, to make things right. He had to be honest with himself, with his team, and himself. The cowboy he rode into the sun. The cowboy he was rode into the sunset, and Cole Cassidy faced the world at dawn. And it's like, guys, it doesn't need to be a fucking story beat or a dramatic thing. Like, we know why this is happening, so making this into a weird dramatic fucking haiku on Twitter is weird to me. Like,
no, it makes sense because gamers are into that weird continuity shit, and so it's like, you know what, fine, sure. But I didn't think about it until they said, oh, by the way, the other cowboy's name is Ash at the moment, so now it's Cole and Ash. I was like, oh, that's stupid.
What is that?
It's like a pun, Cole and Ash. So you have a piece of coal.
Oh.
From coal, you get Ash.
Oh.
And also his last name is Cassidy, so it's, Butch Cassidy.
Okay.
So that's the other thing.
I'm very confused. I'm super tired right now. Second.
It's because you've been playing pirate shanties instead of cowboy shanties.
There's no such thing as a cowboy shanty. They don't have ships. You got to play shanties on ships.
Well, we play them on your wagons or whatever.
That's not a shanty. That's a, I don't know. Waltz? Wagon waltz?
I don't think it's a waltz either. That doesn't make any sense.
So, yeah.
Also, cowboys can have boats. I don't see what's weird about that.
McCree's name is changed. I don't know that cowboys are really known for, like, sailing the seas, right?
Not really.
That's a sailor,
but
not a cowboy.
But they can be on them. They can be on boats. I don't see the issue with that.
I guess. I feel like they don't want to play guitars, though. They don't want to play, like, pirate instruments. They want to play their...
I never said it was a pirate instrument. You put that yourself.
What are you going to be on a boat and not be playing pirate instruments? This just doesn't make any sense. I'm too tired for this. Last Blizzard story. BlizzCon 2022 is a cancelino.
Oh, no. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I knew my ex-boss would go to this every year.
It's kind of a good thing, right? In hindsight, like, Blizzard needs to just fucking, like, go away for a little while. Like, they need to just fucking, like, go somewhere and stop doing things.
Weren't they like banning Winnie the Pooh outfits or something, or was that my imagination?
Dude, I can't even keep up with this shit anymore.
I remember, because that was the thing, is when BlizzCon was at its like peak, like everyone fucking hated them. It was after the phones incident,
right,
and right after the Taiwan thing and the Winnie the Pooh thing. And so I remember hearing that people were showing up at BlizzCon in Winnie the Pooh outfits, or something like that. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it was like 1,000 years ago, but it wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blizzard is their BlizzCons have not been well received for quite some time now.
I mean, the other thing is that I just don't think that Blizzard actually has any games to put at their convention. Like, there's Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, but as I understand it, both of those are like really, really way down the line. So it would be hard to have a BlizzCon with like Heroes of the Storm characters and Hearthstone packs. I mean...
Yeah, the packs are where you have to fight Winnie the Pooh to the death.
Yes. Yeah. So, no BlizzCon. But we may not have a BlizzCon, but actually... we are getting on November 10th this Thunderful World digital showcase hosted by Mark Hamill.
I'm sorry, what?
This thing came out of nowhere. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if you guys were like, what the fuck is Thunderful?
I don't know what that means. Yeah. Is that a superhero?
Thunderful Games is the creator of the SteamWorld franchise.
Really?
And they are putting on their own digital showcase hosted by Mark Hamill on November 10th. That's going to have, and it's like they list all these games, and I'm just like, what? Planet of Lana, The Gunk, Fire Girl, Curse to Golf, Source of Madness, Tinkertown, and White Shadows. All those games that, I mean, me as a professional, like, I do this shit for a living every week. Video Game Man is like, who? I just don't know what any of these are.
I think the Gunk is that one that shows up on the Xbox, right?
Yes.
I think that's the only one I recognize of that entire list.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that I guess Mark Hamill's just bored. Like, you just be like, Yeah, man.
Pay him whatever, and he'll do a Harrison Ford impression.
I'll do whatever. And this is going to be like this is like a Swedish company. I don't really know.
Sure, I guess that's weird.
This whole like press release where he wrote like, I did Thunderful. What the hell is that? Is that guy that came over to my house and left that big stack of papers? And, but he's like, no, seriously though, I'm Mark Hamill and I love this stuff.
This is my favorite game company on the Citadel.
Right. So, question mark?
Sure, I guess.
I have no idea. But I guess we'll find out on November 10th.
Even on this page that we're on here, Pumpkin Jack, the new next gen version. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
I played Pumpkin Jack with Tessa a while back.
I have no fucking idea what this is.
Pumpkin Jack is actually pretty fun. It's like a third-person action platformer where you play as like a jack-o'-lantern-headed dude. Kind of like medieval, but not quite as good. I don't know. You might like it.
Maybe,
like
I don't
medieval. I don't know.
Coming on PS5 apparently.
Yeah, and Series Xbox Series X/S. Let's see. In other celebrity news, apparently, if you're not playing Far Cry 6 enough, Giancarlo Esposito will email you and ask why you're such a piece of shit. This is something that Ubisoft has done before. They did this with Watch Dogs Legion, but with Watch Dogs Legion, it was just like, hey, we noticed that you stopped playing. Here are some tips that maybe get you back in the game. Whereas these emails are written in the tone of Giancarlo Esposito's character from Far Cry 6, basically like admonishing you. Like if you're doing well, it's like, oh, you've taken 2 of my districts, but I will take them back. And then like there's other ones that's just like, surely you could do better than this, and it has like the amount of time you played the game. And
yeah, I love this. It's just him thinking like, yeah, thanks for letting me be in control of this place.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, thanks for that. It's like, oh boy, he's taunting the shit out of you.
It's kind of a weird thing where you're just like, I don't know, man, leave me alone. I got a life. Like I'm not fucking, I don't need your emails, Ubisoft.
You don't, but it's a fun way of doing that at least. Like at least they're not being weird about it. Like I think that's just a fun thing to do.
I also beat Far Cry 6 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm amazed you didn't mention that before the Dune thing.
Oh, I don't know. It was fine as a Far Cry game. Giancarlo Esposito was great. They fucked up the whole ending, and it.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask about.
Not even in a oh my god, like Far Cry 5, like where we're going to be talking about how bad this ending is for a long time. But like it gets to the end, and then I watched the ending, and I was like, that's it. And then it was like, hey, but we put you back in the game, and now like sectors have incursions that you have to go deal with, and it's like, no, I don't think I will be doing that, Far Cry 6. I think I'm going to turn you off and uninstall you and start playing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
So, Giancarlo Esposito is great. There were a lot of ways that Ubisoft could have ended the game, but they were big, fat... they were big fat genitals. They were huge ass smelly genitals, and they pulled the ripcord, and they gave you just the most fucking milquetoast ending ever. So
does it have 2 endings, or is it just the one?
It's got one, I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it's all over the internet. Early on, like, the main character wants to leave and go to the United States. And after you play the game for about an hour, you get to a point where if you just take a boat and just drive off the map, it triggers an ending cutscene where they are, like, sitting on the beach, drinking a Corona, and you hear the radio where it's like, oh, yeah, the gorillas in Yara totally got destroyed. They all got set on fire yesterday. And you're just like, all right, well,
whatever.
So
I'm glad I'm not there, he said.
Yep. Yeah. So that's Far Cry. In other Ubisoft news, apparently Ubisoft is interested in getting into the blockchain game. Blockchain.
I don't know what that means.
Blockchain is the bullshit that makes crypto and NFTs. Blockchain is the technology that allows you to track the history of an NFT or a piece of Bitcoin, making it actually worth something, because you can trace that it's not just like, because if it's a digital currency, right, you could just like, fucking, I just made this up. Like, yeah, man, I got a Bitcoin account. It's got $1 billion in it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this is the way that you can actually track a Bitcoin back to where it was originally mined to verify its authenticity. That's
interesting. Weird,
blockchain.
but interesting.
Yeah, there was a brief moment there where they were like, we're going to use blockchain for everything, but apparently, Ubisoft, in one of their quarterly earnings report, had said that it was exploring blockchain for games. If there was one company in this world who put fucking NFTs in their games, it would be goddamn Ubisoft.
No, it would be, and you would need a Ubisoft account to look at it.
Yep.
And then you can unlock an Assassin's Creed outfit with it. For some reason.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft started accepting cryptocurrency for DLC packs.
I wouldn't either, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a big pile of garbage. That's really stupid.
That's how they're going to make their money back off that pirate game.
Well, the question here is that, like, Steam said that they're not allowing NFTs or crypto on the platform anymore. So there were actually some blockchain enabled games on Steam that were using like NFTs for specific things. Like the guy that made Rust made a game where like NFTs would give you bonuses in the game. And
that's weird.
Steam was just like, well, this is all real money that exists in the world. Like, so we don't want that. We're only looking to have people have like Steam currency. We're not looking to become a marketplace where like actual money can come into it. And then I didn't even have it on the list, but I read it because they had the picture of Job with the League of Magicians on Kotaku, where apparently like 26 NFT game developers like wrote Steam a letter being like, nah, come on, man, come on, we want to do it, like
take it seriously,
it's the future, like come on.
NFTs, man, like those things are so much trouble.
They're stupid. They're stupid.
They're super stupid, but they're so much trouble because so many people are just making illegal copies of people's shit and selling them.
It's like somebody formalized the process for like, if I go to this place, I can get a certificate that says whatever I want on it. It's like, I made up toast. That was my invention. And they're like, okay, sir, here's your certificate. It says that you invented toast. And then you're like, yeah, check it out. I did this. And everybody's like, who cares? And no, you didn't. Well,
it's the people buying stars,
right,
with their name on it, or
right.
Whatever. It's just, but more expensive and stupider.
If I just put a well in my front yard and I just put a sign next to it that said "put excess money here," and at the bottom it was just like one of those vacuum bank vault things that just like put it into the big Scrooge McDuck building in the back of my house. I bet people would just be like, "Oh man, I love this thing. Give me $1. I want to put it in the hole." And it'd be like, "But nothing happens. What do you get? Nothing. What happens? I don't know. I just love throwing my money down this well." Like,
that's the thing. Yeah, that's people do that to wells just randomly. Not even wishing wells, just wells.
Who the hell thinks they could like buy a Logan Paul tweet that's going to be anything but worthless at a point?
I don't even understand half of them. Like, some NFTs are just absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
Like that Spider-Man NFT that Marvel came out with.
Yeah,
it looked like a really bad PS1 model.
It's also incredibly wasteful. I just want to point that out again because we're just about to take a break. But it's incredibly wasteful because the amount of computing power that's needed to process the math to verify the blockchain is obscene because it's just brute force huge math problems. Like what did this article say? It was like I'm not seeing it. It was basically just like for like 1 Bitcoin, the amount of power that it takes to like process that Bitcoin's transactions would like run London for a year or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing, is that Bitcoin has been incredibly difficult to mine, which is why the thing with China, where like hundreds and thousands of dollars was owed for like this way people were mining out there.
Yeah. And last but not least, actually, it's just good to put this here because it means that we won't spend too much time on it. Speaking of titanic amounts of money and really stupid people, Tim Sweeney came out, the CEO of Epic, to basically talk about how the billionaire tax that they're talking about in Congress is a terrible idea. And if you did it, he would never have been able to make the banana shooter game, but then through his statements, he literally shows that he has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Also, guys, Tim Sweeney, or I don't know. I don't feel like I'm arguing with anybody. I feel like it takes a very specific type of person to be like, no, but Tim Sweeney needs billions of dollars. I'm like, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't even feel like this is a controversial political statement, but like, I kind of think that you should cap out at $1 billion of personal wealth. Like,
I once did when I was in 7th grade, I did a paper. And I tried doing a Brewster's Million idea where it's like, what if you spent, like, you were given $1 billion, but you had to spend it within like a certain amount of time frame.
Oh my God.
So I started writing out this list of things you could buy with $1 billion, and I never reached $1 billion.
Yeah.
I had like this giant fuck off list, and I kept going over how much it could be, and I was like, I'm never gonna reach this amount. Never never ever. It's like it would be impossible.
Yeah. Epic Games is currently valued at $28.7 billion. And Tim Sweeney personally has a net worth estimated at $8 billion.
Jesus Christ.
So, like, I don't care, Tim Sweeney.
Yeah,
I think
off,
they should
dude.
take your money away from you. I kind of think that I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like, you know.
That's a terrible thing to tweet out, buddy.
Again, I'm not a fucking, like, I'm not a communist, Michael. Like, I'm not like, take it all and throw him out on the street and make him work in Foot Locker for a living. But I'm like, there's a certain point of money where after you get past that, it's like you have well past the point of living in opulence for the rest of your life.
Oh, you could literally sit down in a chair and stare at a wall for a year and nothing would have changed.
Yeah. And at that point, I don't mind taking a little bit of that to like fucking build bridges and shit. Like, I don't know.
It's stupid
fine.
for a billionaire to be like, don't take my money.
Right.
Because then you won't get games. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Also, again, I'm not going to, well, we're already kind of political here. I'm not going too far down the road, but like Tim Sweeney was like, what they should do is raise the capital gains tax. And it's like, Timothy, no Republican will vote to raise the capital gains taxes.
No,
so
never.
like, sorry, if you can't do it that way, then you're going to have to do some other bullshit. Anyway,
the whole thing is dumb.
take away a lot of Tim Sweeney's money. I'm not going to feel bad about it.
No.
I'm going to feel just fine about it.
Apple won't feel bad about it.
Yeah. I'm also going to feel fine about taking a break because that's what we're about to do. But we'll be back with more of the news. Back. And Michael,
No.
I'm not the only one making music this week, apparently. Like,
Really?
I'm not the only person on the internet that's playing music. Apparently, this is why you should never trust Snoop Dogg with information. Snoop Dogg was on a podcast this week or like a radio show or some kind of interview, and he basically said that like Dr. Dre is working on music for a Grand Theft Auto game.
Oh, jeez. Is that right? Says it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he says, I do know he's in the studio. This is on the Rolling Stone Music Now podcast. I do know he's in the studio. I do know he's making great fucking music, and some of his music is connected to the GTA game that's coming out. So I think that will be the way that his music will be released through the GTA video game.
Oh, jeez.
Which,
Dog just
you know,
going right away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, there's I'm sure that in any other case, it's like, 2K comes down hard on Leaker, but it's like, you don't come down hard on fucking Snoop Dogg.
No.
Especially if Dr. Dre is doing work for your video game. You don't like try to, I don't know. Who in this world, Michael, who in this world has the stones to try to fuck with Snoop Dogg?
No, not a lot of people. Every time they do, they get horribly lashed.
Like, I wonder if, like, there's that new Halloween Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg show on,
Oh, yeah.
it was like Hulu or something like that. Like, does anybody have the nuts to go into the comments and be like, this is dumb, I hate it? Probably, because this is the internet. But
I always laugh at the meme where it's like Snoop Dogg is the guy who's finished the main quest and is just purely doing side quests at this point.
he's just doing daily raids in life.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, fuck it, whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah. Rockstar Games declined to comment
Of course they would.
So,
what would you have to say about Snoop Dogg throwing all your shit out in the open?
I didn't know this, but apparently Dr. Dre was in one of the GTA 5 online heists.
I didn't know that either, but I've not played all the online stuff after it first came out.
Yeah, so I guess there's the offhand possibility that this might be something for Grand Theft Auto Online.
It's possible. That's the thing.
But I don't know. It's about time for Rockstar to announce something new. At least.
Well, they finally canceled that spy game that they announced ages ago.
Agent. Don't remind me. I'm still bitter. I really wanted to play that game. Even
Everyone did.
I knew it was never going to actually exist, but
it was like Street Fighter. It was like Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Just everyone was like, maybe it'll come out. Who knows? Except Rockstar finally was like, no, it's not a thing anymore, guys.
Or like
sorry.
A new Titanfall game.
Oh yeah, a new Titanfall. That would be nice.
And you know what? That isn't the only Grand Theft Auto news we have this week.
Really?
Because I, as stated before, did not have the time to, or I did not have the constitution to watch Mark Zuckerberg talk for an hour and 20 minutes about anything, literally anything.
Yeah.
But apparently one of the things that was announced at that Oculus, the Metaverse thing or whatever, is that they're making a version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the Oculus Quest 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, indeed.
I am actually kind of happy. I'm kind of excited of the idea of something like that.
There's not a lot of information about it. It says an entirely new way to experience this iconic open world in virtual reality. I guess the one question is is it gonna look like it like the remasters do, where everybody's like a weird Pixar man
I didn't think
with
about
the
that.
weird Pixar faces, or is it gonna are they actually remastering the entire thing? I think this is also being done by. Oh no, they're just talking this article about the Resident Evil 4 VR re-release.
Here's the thing about your San Andreas that a lot of people don't give enough credit for. It is probably the most lived-in world of all of the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah,
like there's so much going on in it. Like every little thing has something that reacts to it.
Yeah,
like the fire departments actually show up and fight fires, like that sort of thing. Like a lot of those games don't really do anything with those. And I always found San Andreas fascinating with how much shit was going on inside of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that San Andreas would be ripe for a remake, even though I kind of want them to just fucking just move the hell on already.
I would too, yes.
Grand Theft Auto 5 was amazing, and I loved it. It literally came out on the PlayStation 3, and it's about to come out on the PlayStation 5. It's been out on 3 generations of consoles.
Yeah, it's been out for 6 years, 6-7 years now?
Something like that.
Something massive.
Which
is
ridiculous.
Crazy. They've the amount of time that's happened, they released all of the original 4.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell, guys. Once you found out how much money you made off that one, you just fucking stuck with it.
Yeah. So, yeah. What would you rather have, though, Michael? VR Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or VR Red Dead Redemption? Or VR Bully?
I would not take Bully because I didn't really care all that much for Bully.
Or VR table tennis.
Well, I think that's just Grand Theft Auto 5, right?
Right.
Shit, that's a tough call. I would say San Andreas only because of the sheer amount of vehicles in it, and I would be curious as to how those would work, especially the planes kind of thing.
I'm not entirely sure though how this is going to work, because I remember when they re-released Grand Theft Auto 5, they had the first person mode in it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the one time that I tried driving a motorcycle in first person in Grand Theft Auto, and it was goddamn ludicrous.
That's the thing. Yeah, the ludicrous speed is what those motorcycles do too.
Yeah. And that's new Grand Theft Auto. Old Grand Theft Auto is even more unreasonable.
Oh yeah. Those things go to 0 to 1,000 pretty quickly.
Yeah. And in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you've got all that modding too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can mod out your cars and everything. Let's see. Speaking of old games with old graphics, Nintendo's N64 emulator came out this week. And apparently, Nintendo is unable to emulate their own games better than third-party aftermarket emulators on the internet.
So I heard about this, and I saw a bunch of the clips and stuff people have of it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking it's brutal.
It's
how bad it is.
Pretty bad. They show, here's Ocarina of Time on the N64, on the Wii Virtual Console, and on the Switch. And there's a water texture that isn't even transparent here.
Yeah. And there's supposed to be fog that's just not there.
Yeah.
And there was a clip, I don't know if it's in here, of a guy who's playing the game and his Link is completely invisible. And he starts like doing the roll, and the game slows down and then just freezes.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of apparently there's like input lag if you use the controllers wirelessly. Apparently there's like the online is super stuttery because you're supposed to be playing Mario Kart online with other people on the Switch. Like, it's generally considered like a bad implementation of this particular technology. So,
and they're charging extra money for it, which makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it's also a little strange. I mean, I guess I don't know. It is strange that Nintendo would do this, because I feel like Nintendo as a company, normally they don't like this kind of thing to happen, where it's like we put something out and it was bad and wrong. I guess Star Fox Zero is an example of that. But
the thing is that like they're usually like that, but that makes sense for a game that's already been out.
Yeah,
or not already been out. That makes sense for a game that they actually worked on and then released. So to them, these are like, well, these games are already done, and these emulators should just take care of it and should be fine. And they didn't really look into it, because that's the thing, is they've always been real bad about online anything.
Yes.
And this continues to be proving that they don't know what the fuck they're doing with their online service.
Yeah. It definitely does not seem good. So
yeah, there's the video. It's like
oh, is this the one with
because like Link is just completely transparent.
Oh.
And then it just starts slowing down super hardcore from him rolling.
Does
it just freezes.
And then it crashes. Do we think that this is because of the hardware power of the Switch?
I don't think so. I think it's just they don't know what the fuck. I don't think they tested it very well, because these are all 64 games and stuff. Like, it doesn't take a lot to make these be tricked into doing something at all nowadays.
Well, I don't know, because
these are stronger than the Wii Virtual Console was at the time.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I think the main thing is that they're all online still. Because you don't actually download these games, as far as I know. I think, as far as I know, these games are
they streaming?
Or streamed to your thing. Yeah, because I don't remember there being an option to download the Nintendo thing. But that's the thing. I haven't fucked around with it enough to say yes or no.
When you executed the Nintendo game, it took a second to like download the ROM, and then it.
Well, that's the thing. I've never really fucked with it. And I think it still comes down to the fact that they just didn't test these things. Yeah. Because like they said, that's the Wii Virtual Console was a much more underpowered thing than the Switch was.
Right.
Like, so why would it look as even worse on it? That's the thing. They just didn't fucking mess with it. That's really what it comes down to.
Now that I guess that brings us to the $1 million question, which is like, will they fix it? How long will it take them to fix it? Will they ever fix it, or will they pull a Nintendo and just be like, that's what you get? $50. Give me the $50. That's what you get. Like,
no, they're gonna have to fix it, because this is a huge slap in their face.
Yeah,
like because the fact that they're like, well, we're gonna charge you more money for these things, and this straight up goes, why should I do that if you're never gonna make these work?
3 words: Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah, but people can just buy that separately. There's no option there's no reason to forcefully have to do that.
Yeah. Actually, I can give you a bunch of reasons why people might want to do it, because data miners got into the new they got into like the list of games, and they're not like all filled in, but there seems to be some indications that Mario Kart or Smash Brothers 64 might be coming. There's also some information about a lot of different Sega games. Most of those are kind of not filled in. It looks like they said that, going by the IDs, that there could be 38 N64 titles planned in total for the Nintendo Online.
Okay.
And then for the Genesis, there's like it's quite a bit, 52 slots on the Genesis side, 14 of which are currently taken. So I don't know. Are there any, like, everybody knows by now, I never owned an N64. I don't have nostalgia for an N64.
I didn't own one either when I was growing up. My cousin had them.
I think their games look like garbage because they're old polygonal games, and I don't think that ages real well, unless it's that weird Elisa game that we played for like a Patreon.
It's because I had a talking puppet shop owner.
Fucking, that was
fucking crazy.
That game was great. So I guess neither one of us have any desire for, I was going to say, like, what N64 games would you like to see on the Switch? But I don't think I'm going to play any of them. I mean, I haven't even upgraded to the new the expansion pack, right?
Yeah, I haven't either. The thing is, like, yeah, I have no nostalgia for the 64 in any way, outside of the games they re-released on the DS and the 3DS, like maybe the Zelda games, the Super Mario. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Super Mario 64, but I bought the thing that came with it.
Yeah.
So I have no reason to buy their expansion pack for that. And Mario Kart 64, I'm just like, it's fine, but I have Mario Kart fucking 8 now.
Right.
And like a lot of these games are like they're newer, better versions of them. I think maybe the F-Zero game that was on there, but that's only because they don't fucking make F-Zero anymore.
I think I should put out the worst games from the N64. I think I should just put out the worst games.
Just put Earthworm Jim 3 on it. And go from there.
Castlevania 64.
Yeah. The internet's been kind of weird about that one. People have been sort of not turning on it. They've been turning around on hating it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's more people are like, Castlevania 64 wasn't that bad. I'm like, yes it was. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you people. Stop it.
Let's see another throwback Nintendo news. It turns out that the Mario Party Superstars game that's coming out is actually bringing back a game. I didn't actually realize that there was this much of this, Michael. So on the original, or on the Mario Party that was on the N64, there was this tug of war game where you had to
fucking thing.
Put the stick in a circle, and people would use their hands to do it, and it would make like blisters and scrapes and like burns and stuff.
Yeah, it happened to me because my like I said, my cousin had these, so we would play these 64 Mario Party games a lot. And so yeah, the way the joystick was, it was not really well designed for like comfort.
Yeah.
So when you stuck your hand on it and you just went like that, fucking crazy, because you had to do that to throw Bowser real fast too. So it's to like just fucking twirl your hand. Those things were not well designed for your hand, so you constantly were just redness.
I didn't realize this, but apparently back in the day, Elliot Spitzer, the Attorney General of New York, got involved, and there was a settlement in New York where like if you could provide like a really esoteric proof of purchase for this Mario Party game, Nintendo would send you 4 gloves for your hand to protect it from the blisters of doing the thing on the controller.
I did not know that. That's kind of amazing. Yeah, I do remember. That's the thing. Like, I don't have any nostalgia for the system because I didn't own it.
Yeah.
But I have nostalgia for the weird shit that I would see from it.
Sure.
And that was definitely one of those.
You know what I really would like? I would like them to put out GoldenEye. But a GoldenEye is like, you can't emulate GoldenEye because it's so difficult.
That and the licensing for it's all fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because apparently they were originally supposed to re-release it, but I don't remember who put their foot down and said no, but somebody did.
But apparently in the new Mario Party, they literally have a warning when this one comes up, when this game comes up, that says, to avoid irritation to your skin and or damage to the control stick, do not rotate it with the palm of your hand.
But that's like the easiest way to fucking win the game is the issue, guys.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna fucking do it no matter how old they've gotten.
Yep. Thanks Nintendo. That's great.
Those controllers at least are a little better, because that's the thing about those original 64 controllers. Those things were like solid plastic.
Yeah.
And so those rubbing
also
that on you.
the top of the stick was minuscule. It was tiny.
It was real tiny, and it had those bumps on it.
Yeah.
Like the series of
little
bumps,
ridges. Yeah.
Which just made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
For your hand, for doing that specifically.
I just remember when somebody clued me into the track and field thing. So on the original NES, when they had track and field 2, and it was there's a race where you have to alternate between B and A, and if you take a spoon and you just go back and forth really quickly between the two of them, you just go pew and like win. And like half the games in track and field have some kind of BA like thing to do, and so you just get a spoon and you go to play track and field 2. I don't have money for a turbo controller.
Well, no, not a lot of people did. I had one turbo controller, and it was for the PS1, and we mostly used it for Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah. Let's see. This was originally supposed to tie into my Smash Brothers news, but apparently there's a leak from Warner Brothers that Warner Brothers is making their own Smash game.
I heard about this.
Yes, I thought you might have. So there's this professional Smash player, Juan Hungrybox Debidma, wrote on Twitter and put up this screenshot of this this character select screen. It says, y'all thought I was lying, huh? Warner Brothers, and I actually really love the name, Multiverses.
Yeah.
It's a really good name.
I have the screenshot somewhere because they've taken it down since.
Yeah. Character select screen, and there seem to be levels and fighter type icons, and then he lists Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Batman / Harley Quinn, Superman / Wonder Woman, Gandalf, Rick and Morty, Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, and then a new character. And then it got DMCA shut down. Oh shit. Oh wait, it's also got Shaggy?
Yeah, it's got all these characters in it. Yeah, Shaggy. Yeah, because there's a lot of memes coming around from it too.
For Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
Because Ultra Instinct Shaggy. My favorite meme is since Batman and Steven Universe are next to each other.
Yeah,
they did that thing where they put them next to each other and went, "This is where my parents died."
But yeah, apparently, and then it got DMCA'd.
Yeah,
and then they're like, well, that's confirmation right fucking there.
Right then and there, you just confirm this fucking thing's happening.
Yep. If it was
so strange.
If it wasn't fake, you wouldn't have taken it down. So
what makes it funny to me is you're seeing Steven Universe, Adventure Time, but then you got Rick from Rick and Morty and Gandalf. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, it's so strange.
The only way I think I'd like to see Rick and Gandalf fight, just old man fights.
It'd be like that episode with the magic thing where he's he has the gun made of magic or something.
Yeah, with the fucking dragons.
But it's weird. It's fascinating to me that this is happening. But it makes sense that it would, because these games are not that difficult to really make per se.
Yeah,
but
it's mostly having the IP rights.
Yeah, and you have all these IPs. It wouldn't. It's a no-brainer. You have all these characters. You did it with Space Jam. Fucking why not do it with a fighting game?
Yeah. And this is the perfect time to do it, right? As if Smash has finished up their last DLC character.
Yeah.
Then there's room. You don't have to fight the fucking 600-pound gorilla at this point. You could just get in there.
Yeah, and all they have to fight is the Nickelodeon one, and that one's that one apparently got some updates. I don't know if there were updates or not, where some of them have voices now.
Oh.
I saw a video of somebody playing where they had voices, but I don't know if it was a mod or not.
Somebody commented on our video, and they were like, don't listen to these guys. These characters totally have combos. At which point, I went out to the internet and searched for, Nickelodeon All-Star, whatever, combos, and what I saw were people doing the exact same attack over and over and over again very quickly, which I do not consider to be a combo.
That's not a combo.
If you juggle somebody and then you hit them with the same up attack 4 times in a row by executing the same thing over and over again, I do not consider that to be a combo. I looked. And then
spamming, yeah.
I did a search, and apparently that's what people mean when they're like, there are combos, and it's it's just hitting light attack over and over and over again because the characters are pretty fast, but it's not a A to B to C to D finisher combo.
Well, that's my issue with it, is that it doesn't have good feeling combos.
Yeah,
because I get calling those combos because there are 1, 2, but they're still the same fucking move over. It's like doing the Hadouken five times in a row
and calling
There's
it a combo. Yeah,
interesting about hitting somebody 5 times in a row with a Hadouken.
Right,
it's just well, it works, and it says it's a 5-hit combo, but it doesn't feel like I did anything.
It's like doing the Keanu Reeves low kick attack, light crouching kick attack, and being like, that was a 3-hit combo.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Technically yes, but it was just the same thing 3 times. So.
I saw that how unbalanced it is apparently too with some of them. Somebody discovered an infinite jump with Michelangelo, so they banned him from tournaments that they're doing.
I saw that headline. I didn't actually read the story, but
so what it is that Mikey has an attack where when you jump and do this specific attack, you can keep jumping, and so people realize.
Well, Jesus, guys, in a Smash game.
Yeah, you can. People realize you can just stay outside of the stage and be completely unreachable, and just keep doing that forever.
Yeah,
and so they're like, well, we have to ban Mikey now from these things because of this. So
I would say if you're listening to this podcast and you disagree with me, I'd like to see, not if you disagree that hitting the same attack a bunch of times is a combo, that's a fundamental thing. But if there are combos and I'm not seeing them, please, for the love of God, show me a YouTube video, because I'd like to see what I'm missing. I don't like to be fundamentally wrong like that. I just could not find them. It wasn't in the instructions. It didn't seem plausible in the game controls. I
was watching Maximilian play it and still was just no, you guys are just doing the same thing over and over again. And you're like, oh, look at all these combos. It's just the same thing over and over again, Max.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Make me like this. And he was not helping, in my opinion.
Well, speaking of making people like stuff, Google's still trying to make people like Stadia.
Jeez.
Which with this week they kicked off 30-minute game demos, which is actually a no-brainer, right? Like, hey, you know, if it's a streaming thing, it's like you can play the game for 30 minutes. And they kicked it off with the Hello Engineer that was just released. So yeah, you can play it for 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, you have to pay to keep playing it, but it saves where you left off, right? Because it's just a stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. There was also another story that was out there about Stadia is finally starting to integrate like the save your state, share your state, like people are you know, the thing when they originally announced where like if you're streaming that somebody could just be like, oh, I want to play from there.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Was that just never implemented? Or
it wasn't implemented because this thing has been a titanic waste of time. But
I guess that's true.
I actually saw another story. I didn't research any of these, and we just have a little extra time, so I'm sitting on Stadia. But I saw another story where apparently Stadia is being used as a back end for other people streaming. There was a Batman, you can stream Arkham City like through the Warner Brothers website if you have a subscription or something, and that was being run by the Stadia tech, just not branded as Stadia. So it seems like it's still out there, and it seems like it's useful enough that it'll end up getting used for other things, just like not as I keep forgetting that I own it. Then I'm like, oh, right, I should go see which games are out. And I claim all my free games and go, all right, I don't want to actually play any of this.
Yeah, I forgot Stadia existed until my YouTube subscription was like, here's the Kakarot launch trailer for a Stadia. I'm like, oh shit, Stadia's still a thing. Yeah. And you put Kakarot on it for some reason.
Yep. Let's see. Speaking of streaming, good news for Xbox fans. Twitch is coming back to Xbox.
Ooh.
Apparently, this is on the Alpha Skip Ahead program. Twitch was on Xbox One.
Yes.
Twitch integration was on Xbox One. Apparently, it was not on the Series X/S until now.
I think it's because of Mixer.
Oh.
Because they were trying to make Mixer a thing.
Were they still trying to do that when the console came out? Or
yeah, when the console came out, Mixer was still very much a thing, and then they stopped it pretty early on. Was the thing
that was last year though, right?
Yeah, because
when did Mixer stop? Is it early
last year,
this year?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. It's been a while. That's the thing is
maybe they were just planning on Mixer to be.
Time
the
was
thing.
a whole thing. Yeah, they were trying to make Mixer a thing, and I remember it supposed to be. I remember it being on there for like a hot minute. Yeah, and then they just that wasn't a thing anymore.
Yep. Let's see. We have some Halloween updates. So just FYI, everybody. Vermintide 2, if you're into that, is getting some seasonal events with Geheimensnacht, which is apparently the in-universe version of Halloween in Vermintide 2.
I yawned before I could say Gesundheit is my joke.
Yeah. So it's making things a little bit tougher, and there's some different mechanics. The more interesting thing is that Phasmophobia is getting a big
fucking
Halloween update.
My brain didn't register that for a second, and it freaked me out for a moment. I was like, oh, jeez.
The big face of the big ghost face. Yeah, so apparently there's like a campsite. There's like a bunch of weather effects, and then there's also... having now played Phasmophobia and never actually successfully completed any part of Phasmophobia, this sounds terrible. There's a new nightmare mode that they're putting on.
Oh, God.
That is like ghosts will reveal one type of evidence. So I think you only get one thing to find out if you've got the right
find
ghost.
Out what it is. Okay, yeah. That's fucking crazy.
The ghost sometimes changes its preferred room after moving. No setup time. Shortest hunt grace period. Long hunt duration. Kills extend the current hunt's duration.
Oh, jeez.
Sanity pills restore much less sanity. Fuse box starts off. Almost no hiding places. Paranormal interference has damaged some of your monitoring equipment.
Oh, God.
I mean, like, I understand what Bryce was telling me when we played Phasmophobia, that, like, there are people that like speed run that shit and they're just like fucking bam, 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 like good to go. So I guess that works for that. I couldn't even make it work one time. Like one time I could not make that game work. So.
I was watching it, a little bit of it during work today. And I was like, you poor bastards.
We tried. We didn't do it right.
It is a game I'd love to try eventually. I just have never gotten around to it.
I think somebody in the comment section noted that Okay, when you load up the game, it says like, "Hey, do you have a microphone attached to your computer? Ghost will listen to it, even if you're not pushing the push to talk button." So I have a webcam that has a built-in microphone, and that was my microphone. And so I was walking around like during that video, just screaming this ghost name, like walking around. And then somebody in the comments was like, "You have to push to talk for the ghost to hear what you're saying." So like, I was just walking around like not like I've never been able to get the voice box to work, and now I know why. It's because I didn't hit the V button before. I was like, Jimmy, you get out here.
It's kind of amazing. Kind of amazing.
I'm also too scared though. I don't want to hold that thing and go, "Where are you?" and hear behind you, like because that's apparently what happens. Like,
yeah, it'll make noises and stuff.
I don't want to hear that. It's too scary. I'm too scared. I'm too spooked out.
I would love to play it, to be honest. Like, legitimately, I'd love to do that. But
I don't know.
I've never had a way of doing it.
I'm trying to put together. I don't know. I may be trying to put something together. I'm maybe trying to put that. This is actually
also VR. I would love to be able to do it in VR, but I don't know if there's a way of doing it.
I mean, I could probably sideload it onto my Quest 2
because I have a Quest 2 as well, but I don't have a computer that's very strong.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We also are getting an update to Among Us with a new mechanic called the shapeshifter that can be added. Apparently, the shapeshifter will allow the imposter to just like open a menu and turn into one of the other players.
Oh my god!
For a limited amount of time. It leaves behind like a evidence that it has happened, and it doesn't obviously doesn't last forever. But like. Woof.
That's the thing about Among Us. Like, they were supposed to make a sequel originally, but then they're like, "Well, it's just easier if we just build upon this thing."
Yeah, and
they do a really good job at it.
Yeah, apparently, in your options when you're setting up a game, you can choose like the number of shapeshifters, how long the duration is, and then whether or not it leaves evidence when somebody does a shapeshift.
Oh, okay.
This isn't out yet. It's in development, so it should be out with the next update.
That's a clever one. That's a clever one to do.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, again, it's one of those things where like the more people, get used to playing this game, the more curveballs you got to throw.
Yeah.
And last but not least, nobody asked, but they're making a Quiet Place video game. I've never seen either one of the Quiet Place movies, so I don't
forgot there was a sequel, to be honest.
Know that this is a thing, but yeah, apparently there's a movie being made by Illogica, a Canadian studio.
You mean a game is being made?
A game is being made, yes. Very tired. By Illogica, a Canadian game studio made up of former Behavior Interactive, Eidos Montreal, and Ubisoft developers. And it's going to be coming out sometime in 2022.
That's going to be interesting, depending on how it works.
Yeah,
like it could be one of those like sneak ones, but I don't know. It could be fun.
I could see it. Not enough games, or actually, that's not true. There are enough games. I'm actually willing to say at this point, there are enough games, guys. You can just calm down for a little bit.
It's too many games.
Like
the month of February is fucked, and it's the shortest month.
Like I'm just sitting here looking at Riders Republic, like, buddy, I don't know if it's going to happen for you. Like,
probably not.
I don't know if it's going to happen for you. Let's see. From there, we got a lot of trailers. The most anticipated trailer of all time, Michael, the one that everybody was waiting for, the most excited trailer of the week. Fucking Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield are in Fortnite now because apparently everybody's in Fortnite all the time, forever. Fucking Zendaya from Dune is in Fortnite, and so is Chris and Jill. Apparently they have both regular Chris and like big jacket baby
Chris,
kill wife murdering Chris, as I like to call him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and Jill is in more side games than she is in her own Resident Evil games, so unfortunately.
Very true.
But good for the Fortnite peoples.
Yeah, I was actually just kidding. There was a big Halo trailer. I feel like that was what you probably wanted to talk about. So
okay, no, I'm fine with talking about the Halo one. Yeah.
Yeah, so big ass Halo trailer. All Halo fans are now super excited. No one has any problems. Video games are happy and done forever.
Yes, video games have been saved because Halo's coming out again.
Yeah, this is like a 6-minute campaign overview.
It talks a lot about a lot of what's going on in the campaign.
Yeah,
like it finally really tells you what the actual plot is. It tells you what you're actually going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It shows the fact that that you're gonna have a very big open world to explore now.
It's Far Cry.
Yeah, it's Far Cry.
It's Far Cry, the Halo game,
without the cockfighting part of it.
Oh God, yes.
Or maybe they have brutes fighting. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing.
I don't know.
Guys fighting.
So I have questions for you. Does this look better than the last trailer? Does it look better? Does it seem like it's got a better like fidelity and
I think it looks better, but only because it shows more of what's going on in it, and it kind of puts into perspective why the last trailer looked the way it did.
Okay,
because they're not going for like super detailed,
right?
They're going for as much as you can see,
okay,
kind of thing. Like they want to be like, hey, that thing that's way in the distance, you can go there.
Yeah, so instead of like a really super bespoke like roller coaster level experience.
Yeah, they're not. Since it's not level based, they don't have to. They're not going full on. Everything is the most realistic fucking thing you've ever seen in your life, like Part 5 did.
Yeah,
they're going for everything looks really, really good, and it's a really big area.
It also seems like ray tracing was either turned on or turned up for this trailer. Like the ray tracing lighting effects look really good.
I could see that, yeah, especially with some of these sequences with the Chief and. Like especially the people can't see us, but there are these lightings on the new AI
weapon.
Yeah, like it's a naive Cortana.
Yeah,
who's wearing clothes, so you guys can't jack off to it anymore.
I like this new AI. She was like the best part. She was like kind of sarcastic and chipper during the trailer. I
like
really
her a lot because yeah, she's a very, like I said, a naive Cortana. And I think that's kind of adorable.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to how Chief is going to react to that, because Chief has been known for like having because Cortana herself was more like a jaded, sarcastic character.
Yeah.
Whereas like seeing a naive, sarcastic character is kind of funny to me because of it.
What do you think about the gameplay? We got like a grapple. The grapple is in there. I didn't feel like we didn't see that last time, but it looks pretty dynamic.
Well, they showed the grapple a little bit in the last trailer, but it was mostly for like attack purposes, but they're showing more of like what it can do outside of that, like, you know, traversal as well as taking over vehicles, although some people discover that during the multiplayer beta.
Oh, okay.
But they're showing off the fact that like, hey, we're all not only we're doing the whole Far Cry thing, we're also mixing in some of that, you know, Nemesis-y type thing with some of the brutes being like the ones in charge and you have to fight them to death, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of going on in this trailer. Probably the funniest part of this trailer is actually coming up where he's like, oh, I've saved you guys. You're safe then now. And then he drives off a fucking cliff.
Yeah. Like he gets a bunch of AI guys in a warthog and then he just fucking drives that warthog over a cliff. And it's like, I mean, I don't know what happens next, but I assume it wasn't good for those dudes in like fucking t-shirts and camo pants.
It made me laugh because the first thing he says is you're safe now and then drives off a fucking cliff.
Right.
But yeah, I like that it shows that these brutes that you fight, they have like life bars because there are actual like boss fights.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a normal, because there are some boss fights in Halo, but they're not that often.
How do you feel about the big upgrade tree? Because apparently there's a big character upgrade tree with a lot of different stuff that you can activate / fill in, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not 100% certain how I feel on it.
Yeah.
Until I get my hands on it. It all depends on what it is that it's going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's locking moves and stuff behind it, like basic Halo moves behind it, then I'll be annoyed. But if it's like newer stuff attached to what is already the normal Halo things, then I could see myself being cool with that. Like especially if it's the kind of the way it was in like say Metal Gear Solid 5 or the way Far Cry is, where you make new types of equipments and stuff,
right? Instead
of just your basic gear. I'm fine with that.
So it looks like from here I paused it. It looks like this is like a shield. This is an upgrade to your shield that makes it 115% of base shield strength. Scout projectile that tracks enemies through walls and terrain. Module that activates short bursts of directional movement. So it appears that there's like some actual core stuff that isn't just like icing.
Well, some of it's a little icing because, you know, the shield being 100%, that's just your default. Like that's probably what your default would be in, like, say, a multiplayer thing.
Yeah. I guess it just, I guess from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I know about Halo, it's like one of the big things with the single player campaign was that like it always mirrored the kind of the mechanics of multiplayer. Like they never made Chief in the main campaign more powerful than you were in the multiplayer campaign, a la like you would have, what was it, 3, where you had like the armor powers, right? And
no,
it was like
Reach was the first one to start doing
was it Reach? Okay.
your armor abilities.
But then that was like, oh, but that's in the multiplayer as well, right? Whereas here, it seems like by the time you get through this upgrade tree that you can have a Master Chief that can do stuff that you're never going to be able, at least you're not going to be able to have all those abilities on one person in multiplayer.
Yeah, most likely a lot of the stuff is going to be stuff that you're never going to be able to do without like modding, or not modding, but making a map that's very specific.
Or I mean, it seems like the sort of thing where it's like, you can have part of these abilities, but you can't have all of them in the multiplayer. You can only have them single player.
Yeah, like for instance, that shield core thing, like you said, it makes your shield 115. It's like kind of having a small overshield.
Right.
Like that's the idea behind that, and I'm cool with that. But I'm really excited for this thing, to be honest.
Oh, okay. And it's coming out December, 8th or 16th or something like that. Early December. Yeah. Microsoft giving you a nice green battle armor Christmas present.
It was the whole reason I got my Xbox. Like I have not really touched the Xbox that much, except for when it comes to Halo.
It's so much easier to install third-party games on the Xbox because it just puts the one that you need on the Xbox.
Well, there's a lot of I haven't really bought a lot of third-party ones recently.
Yeah,
at least it hasn't come up that often. Except for I think Guardians was the latest one that I've gotten, because the last one I got before that was Deathloop. So that's not on the Xbox at the moment.
No, it's PlayStation exclusive. Yep, December 8th. We also got a Battlefield 2042 video that showed some of the new maps. Without being like, a super Battlefield guy, I can say that these look very, very Battlefieldy. Like they are big. There's a lot going on in them. In these trailers, there's like the guys fall through the glass ceiling and then are fighting people in a lobby, or like a person with a wingsuit flies up, pulls out a rifle and shoots people. It looks very pretty. Frostbite has always looked very pretty.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely surprised. It seems like this new Battlefield is going to be like, just kind of par for the course. Like it's not pushing the envelope or anything. It's just doing Battlefield. It's doing the Battlefield thing with Battlefield.
And I think that's fine. And hopefully it runs well, because I know the beta didn't run super well for some people.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that'll just be the fact that it was a beta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Battlefield's looking good. Let's see from there. Returnal got an update.
Ooh.
2.0 update. It does precisely 2.0 things. Thing number 1, camera mode, or like photo mode, so you can like set the photo. I expect that there's a 90-second trailer for this. Thing number 2, Michael, is not something you would put in a trailer. You could suspend your game in the middle of a run now.
Oh,
seems like
everybody wanted.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it's been like a little while, but like the part of the trailer that shows that is just like a guy playing this game, or like looking off into the distance, and then it shows him like hitting the start button and picking suspend cycle, like in a trailer that's on like Sony's YouTube channel. It's like, I mean,
that's the whole thing too.
Like, yeah,
he doesn't even hit enter.
Yep.
It just shows the message.
Yep.
And that's like, okay, I guess, sure.
Like I want to know who the guy is. Who did they hire? Is this one of the developers, or did they like go to an LA casting office and they were like, we need like a dude with a beard to sit in this chair for 5 minutes,
a man bun.
Yep.
Be like, I need you to look as straight as possible and don't look down. Don't even look at your controller.
And that's all there is. It's so ridiculous, but I mean, like, good.
Returnal's a game that I keep meaning to get, but I don't know if I'm going to get around to it.
I tried and I ended up not liking it. Like I had
a friend who really liked it.
It wanted too much out of me, and I wasn't willing to put in the time to learn it. So.
Well, now you can suspend your thing or whatever.
That was never my problem.
And take pictures and stuff.
That was never my problem. In a roguelike, I have no problem whatsoever with just quitting and starting over again. So we got a 3-minute World in Ruins trailer for Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is coming out in like a week or less.
Soon.
This really just goes over everything that we already know about Shin Megami Tensei 5. Like, this is really just like if you've never seen any of the other footage for this before, just like the RPG systems. I gotta admit, it looks really good. Like, I like the fact that it's like a little darker than some of the previous stuff that I've seen on the Switch.
Yeah.
I hope that it runs very well. It also is a little sharper. I feel like there's a kind of a weird blurriness that you see sometimes on the Switch when it's trying to cut corners, and I like how sharp it is. So
yeah, it looks a lot nicer than I remember the other trailers being.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see from there. Speaking of Halloween updates, Kill It With Fire, everybody's favorite destroying of spiders game, got a Halloween update, which apparently I think from the look of this just seems like it turns off the lights and makes everything like orange colored and spooky, and there's some bigger ghost spiders and like I don't know. I really like Kill It With Fire. I really like that game.
It's a great fucking like just the name of it's a lot of fun, but it's always like the idea of it. Yeah, just like kill these fucking spiders. They're everywhere.
Yep.
It's an Australia simulator.
Let's see. We also got a trailer for Happy's Humble Burger Farm, an official gameplay trailer. This is Team 17's kind of entry into the FNaF weird lo-fi video game arena, where you have to go to this like burger restaurant and create burgers, like put together burgers and hand them to people, but then at night there's like a bunch of weird monsters and fucking big chickens and bloody cows and stuff that are chasing you all around. I don't know, I kind of want to play this. It looks kind of interesting.
That's a fascinating thing. Yeah.
It's got a lot of weird stuff. I like a lot of the horror games I've been playing recently. My God, YouTube, would you please stop showing me these ads? Let's see. We also got a 7-minute trailer for Super Robot Wars 30.
Oh, jeez.
Which just is like kind of a sizzle reel of characters and robots, and like I don't even know half of these. Like I know what a Gundam is, but I don't know what robot police or whatever.
Yeah, mecha animes have gotten away from me quite a bit.
I think a lot of these are older too, because if they were new, I would have looked at them. But
so yeah, some of them are really old. That's the thing about Super Robot Wars is they go real deep cut wise for a lot of these mechas.
Yeah,
and some of them, yeah. So a lot of the Gundams we recognize, they throw in Gurren Lagann a lot of times.
This one, what this one has is...
Oh, it's got Ultraman in this one?
No, Gridman.
Oh, Gridman.
It's got SSSS. I
always forget that
Gridman.
That's his name. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So they show quite a bit of it. This is actually already out on Steam, and you don't even have to switch your region. You can just buy it in the United States.
Which is nice.
Steam, so...
that's been the Super Robot Wars franchise is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
The franchise I wanted to show up though here is the Great Battle franchise, but I don't think they're ever going to do that one because the rights for that would be all over the place.
Is that the Capcom one that has like all the different crazy characters?
So what it is that it's a crossover between Mobile Suit Gundam, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman.
Oh, Jesus!
And it's always like they've been making them since like the Nintendo. And so like it's always the generation of whatever like the shows they're making at that time.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when the PlayStation 1 came out, it's the Gundam Wing one, as well as the Ultraman at that time and the Kamen Rider at that time, that sort of thing. And then the Super Nintendo one was like the God Gundam, Kamen Rider Black, and I forgot what the Ultraman was at that point. And then the last one that I know that came out that I played was the PSP one that had the Destiny Freedom Gundam, Decade. The Kamen Rider Decade, and I guess whatever the Ultraman was at that point. But I really like that franchise a lot because they're these little beat 'em ups, like because they're all SD characters.
Yeah,
like so they're not like full size. It's not like a full size Gundam standing next to a Kamen Rider,
right?
Kind of thing. And they're these fun little fucking crossovers, and they're just never going to release them here in America, which is a shame.
Yep. Let's see, and then we got a release date for Weird West. Which is that Devolver Digital kind of like it's interesting because this looks like an ARPG, like a Diablo style ARPG, but they're basically talking about it like an 0451 vent crawler where there's like a bunch of different ways to do anything, any one situation, and there's a bunch of different characters. But yeah, we got a final release date of January 11th, which is nice because I can't wait to play this. Okay, now I've told you when a bunch of games are coming out. Michael, we have reached the point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you about games that are not coming out when you thought they were.
Oh, okay.
So, Advance Wars Remaster got delayed to spring of 2022.
When was it supposed to come out?
Let's see. They were originally set to launch in December.
Oh, okay.
But they got pushed back. So
at least it's not in February.
Yeah. We got a release date for November for the Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster to Steam and phones. Actually, these are all out of order. I'm not even worrying about it right now. But the one, to my great and utter shame and dismay, I knew it was only a matter of time before this news story came across, Michael, but Shadow Warrior 3 has been officially delayed into early next year. It was supposed to be out in 2021. At this point, without a release date, I was pretty certain that we were not going to see it this year.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah.
For recording something. I don't remember what it was. Like, I literally looked it up, I think, mid-video.
Yeah.
To be like, when's it come out? They're like, I have no idea. And that's a bad sign in the middle of fucking October.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, it just wasn't coming out. We knew it was going to happen, and we just didn't want to say it out loud.
I didn't want it to happen.
We didn't want to jinx it.
I don't want it to be out. And then, but good news, bad news, but then good news. The Lara Croft Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris games are going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch early 2022.
Get re-released a lot, actually.
Yeah, they do. I feel like the last time I saw them was on, it was like Stadia was the last time they were re-released. So
people really like them, though. They're these little twin stick shooters.
Yeah, I played a little bit of them. It never seemed interesting enough to really like get super into.
It's mostly like these games tend to mostly be like the most exciting in co-op.
Yeah.
So it usually just comes down to you need people.
Right.
Because there was that Ghostbusters twin stick shooter, and the only time I ever had fun with it was that I had some people play with me, and that was the only time I had fun with it.
That game was terrible.
Oh, it absolutely was.
Let's see. Okay. And we've got a few fun stories. The first one is a Switch story. Or no, it's not a Switch story. It's a Nintendo story. Well, it's not a Nintendo story. It's a Pokemon story. Pokemon is teaming up with blank.
Reebok.
What is the most ridiculous activity that Pokemon could involve itself with, do you think?
Murder suicides.
And you're right. They are doing murder. No. Sumo.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Apparently, after reading this article, I was like, oh, this is great clickbait for the end of like the fun part of the podcast. Apparently, after reading this article, it's like there's just a bunch of like big flags that get like kind of shown around before sumo matches, and they're just like branding some of those Pokemon stuff. So
that's fun.
But I like this picture of a Pikachu watching over these two sumo dudes because
I would have had more fun if the Pikachu was sumoing the guy.
Yeah. I would have more fun if they made the two sumo dudes. One wears like a Snorlax, the other one wears a Pikachu, and then they'd have to do the. Like,
I would watch that. Yeah.
I would watch.
It would have to be the fat Pikachu from the old days.
Yeah, yeah,
that would be great.
Yep,
the Chonkers Pikachu.
All right, so I got 1 out of 3. All right, I got 2 more riddles for you for the end of the podcast. The latest ridiculous thing that someone beat Dark Souls with is...
Oh, I actually know this one.
Yep.
Morse code.
Morse code.
Yeah, I actually saw this story somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's this guy online, Rudism, that literally beat Dark Souls 3 with one button, and he was using it to input Morse code for various moves. So it would be like attack, move forward, like move left, drink Estus flask, like
it's fucking insane what people do to these fucking games. I don't understand where they come up with them and how they fucking make them work, but they do every fucking time.
Yeah. Well, okay. I actually thought this was really interesting because it brought up something in my mind. God damn, I am tired. The answer to the question that you just asked is that Dark Souls as a game is very, very, very formulaic. So once you've learned the patterns that it takes to beat a boss, all you have to do is change your input method, and you could totally just beat that boss. Because it's not like the boss is so dynamic that suddenly something happens that you've never seen before.
No.
It's like I fought this guy, and I fought him so many times that I just know when they're going to attack, when they're going to block, when they're going to rush, when they're going to go to the left, when they're going to go to the right.
Well, it's the punch-out thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's why people can play Punch-Out without looking at the screen.
Yes.
Because everything is very specific.
Mm-hmm. And that is why, and I think I think it's worth putting that out there to just be like, so Dark Souls is not as like hard as people think it is. It's mostly just about recognizing the
patterns.
Patterns, yeah. It's like learning how to play pirate instruments. No, the problem, I mean, I would say that, I know people out there might say, but well, Jeff, you gave up on Sekiro. The problem with Sekiro was that I got the patterns, but I couldn't execute them fast enough. And there is nothing worse in this world than the feeling of playing a video game and failing because you just couldn't make it happen fast enough. Like your brain wasn't fast enough to keep up with what was happening on the screen. Like
that's happened to me a few times in a few games. I almost, because I have the VR now, and I was playing not just Beat Saber but Pistol Whip, but there are times where like my brain's like do this, but my body just was not fast enough to make it work.
Pistol Whip can get ridiculous.
It can get fucking nuts. And so I was like, I just have to shoot this guy in this corner, but I was like, I'm not fast enough to do this.
Yep.
And that was way more frustrating to the fact that I'm like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just not fast enough.
I mean, in some cases it works like with like Beat Saber, right? Because you can do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like playing Guitar Hero, right? Back in the old days, but it's not quite as fun with something like Souls where, I don't know, like when you play More Than a Feeling again, you still get to listen to the song,
yeah,
as opposed to just being like, okay, I've got to go in here, I've got to run down this hallway, I've got to skip over this cutscene, and fuck, I took a hit 5 seconds in, I'm probably gonna die. Yep, I died. Okay, well, let me run back down this hallway and start over again. So
it's so easy. It's so easy to die in those sorts of the games. It's just one of the main reasons I've never really liked that series.
Yeah. It's actually interesting though, because the same guy was talking about how like he put out a tweet that said, just because it can be beaten with one button doesn't mean that games like Dark Souls shouldn't have accessibility and difficulty options. And he basically was talking about how like, you know, he had to jury rig this one button configuration together because Dark Souls does not have that much in accessibility options.
Yeah.
He talks about how people that are, you know, disabled or can't keep up with the speed of the game, like are just, they're not allowed to play that game because they're just literally unable to get over the hump. And that's something I've always believed in. I do not believe that difficulty options take anything away from a game. A lot of games have them. The fact that the Souls games don't have them, to me, is a little weird. Like,
it makes sense why they don't have them, but it annoys me that they don't have them, and because the reasoning behind it always feels like gatekeeping.
Yeah,
is my biggest issue with it, and the fact that there's so many outspoken advocates for accessibility for video games that it has working, because there are a lot of games that I played recently that are very much like, here are the accessibility options.
Yep.
For, you know, if you're deaf or if you're, or might be not blind per se, but
well,
like,
I mean,
stuff like that, or hard of seeing, I guess.
In Far Cry 6, one of the best things you can do is you can literally turn on a colored outline on like things you can pick up in the world, and because of the high fidelity, it's like it all kind of oozes together into this like pastiche. You're never entirely certain what you can do.
I had to use one in Red Dead Redemption 2 because the map's default colors, I couldn't fucking see what it did. Like if I had a thing to be like, I need to go here, I'm like, I literally cannot see the line to tell me how to get there. So I had to change the colorblind setting because I couldn't tell where I was going.
Dude, there was nothing in this world greater than when I found that in The Last of Us 2, there was an option where if you pressed a button, it would show you which direction you were supposed to go. Because I was like, thank God, because now I could go over there and loot that whole store because I know it's not the critical path, and I'm not going to get like sucked into a cutscene. You know,
I like that about Dead Space. Dead Space had that option where you hit it and then you show the arrow to go.
The line. Yep.
It's a big fan of that. But yeah, there's accessibility is a real big deal right now. There's I don't remember the streamer's name. I think he's a quadriplegic, and he's a huge fucking advocate for these things, and he's very popular nowadays.
Okay, I
think he's quadriplegic, but
and last, I'm having a hard time coming up with a riddle for this one. The last thing you would expect them to make a baby version of is...
I was going to say Watchmen because my first thought was The Simpsons, that Simpsons gag. the baby Watchmen babies.
Yeah.
No.
Physical item.
A physical item?
Yes. It's a baby version of...
Ricky Bobby. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
This is a video game podcast.
I don't know. You said unlikely.
Controllers. So apparently, this is a Kickstarter with a very modest $8,000 goal, which is called Baby Glitch. And apparently, I mean, like, I don't have to worry about this, but it makes perfect fucking sense. Apparently, like, babies love chewing on video game controllers.
It's true. I've seen
like
it.
the rubber, you know, like on the thumbsticks is like, and I can see, it's like I can actually cast my brain back far enough to be like, oh yeah, I would have chewed on that. I used to chew on like cords, like
people chew on it, whatever.
Power cords.
People. No matter what their age are, just start chewing on random shit they're not supposed to be chewing on.
I used to go find my parents' keys and put them in my mouth because I like the metal taste.
I did that for a bit, and I was almost I was like 15 last time I did that.
And my parents were like, "No, those are filthy. Take that out of your mouth," because you know babies will do whatever.
Like we had action figures where we ended up chewing the swords because we were just like, "This is kind of fun." And even though we were like, "Why did we do that?"
the way
we did it every fucking time,
like that kind of soft plastic where you're just chewing on it, and you're like, "Yeah, all right, you know, kind of."
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently they're making like a whole series of basically BPA free like rubber fakey controllers that you could just give to a baby to chew on. Now I'm a little torn because on the one hand, if your baby's chewing on your controller and you give them a controller, then they have something to chew on besides the controller. On the other hand, if they're not chewing on your controllers and you hand them a fake controller, aren't you just teaching them how to chew on controllers?
That's the thing, yeah. You're conditioning them to the idea that if they see another controller that they're allowed to chew on it.
Right.
That's really the only downside to that.
But they have like Super Nintendo ones and Genesis ones, and they have ones with analog sticks, ones without analog sticks. Apparently the little buttons on them like are those little rubber things that like snap in, and then you push them on the back and they'll snap back out to give them something to just manipulate.
That's fun.
I don't know. I never thought that when I was looking at the news that I would be like, they made the baby chewable controllers. Like,
it's a baby's toy, Jeff. You got to use your hands.
It's for babies. It's for those little kids. They need to put the controllers in their mouth.
Exactly what Elijah Wood was warning us about.
Yep. And that's it. I don't think I got anything left in me, Michael. It's very late. I've been recording all day. I have so many things. I still have to post to Asylum.
No, I get it.
I'm wrapping it up. Tell the fine people of the internet where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We release a lot of movie and television reviews. Chris has been doing a new series with Bell of Souls called Crossover Event.
Yeah.
Episode 2 just came out not that long ago. There's also a review with an interview with Scott Snyder done by Danny Dangerous there as well. I don't know if that's on the site or not, but that is something that's part of that too.
Okay. Cool. As always, patreon.com/RageSelect is the email address if you want to get in touch with us. I swear to God, this week has just whooped my ass. But next week, we're talking about pirate shanties. I'm going to be well rested. My throat isn't going to feel like it's about to fall out. But right now, I have to go. My planet needs me. Bye. Goodbye forever.